Is it sane? Is it possible? Still I ask myself, are we, am I? In our game, it's not logical, but you contemplate, are we, am I?
Well, hello and good evening. I don't know what you're doing here. You could be doing literally anything right now, but you want to hang out with me for a 10 o'clock game against Seattle? You mean the Lane Lambert revenge game? Oh, okay. By the way, I actually pulled this mug out of the dishwasher and washed it. Brad! I can't do it as good as Steve does, but what are we doing today? Did you guys see the Jonas Siegel article about how they fired some people from the sports science and then didn't replace them? And hey, the Leafs, I think, are fourth in man games lost to injury this year. All of a sudden, they had like this world-class sports science group. Nobody ever got hurt. Everything was good. And now all of a sudden we've got, hey, our goalie's hurt. He'll probably be back next week, though. And 80 days later, we see Anthony Stolarz. Totally normal stuff. And you know what's crazy about this story? Is it got away from the Leafs so much that Brad then had to go on Overdrive and refute it. Now, he says he doesn't like the slant of the story. He says it's false. Jonas Siegel then followed up with, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. And the thing is that from what I've been hearing from behind the scenes, I know Tree was on Overdrive. I know he refuted it. Guys, whatever they did is sort of immaterial because the changes they made clearly haven't worked. Otherwise, why would you have this many injuries with zero timelines? Maybe they weren't giving us timelines because they didn't have them themselves. That's all I'm going to say. Listen, we're going to talk more about it on the STP tomorrow, but it's to just listen. I want to tell you something. Jonas is a very, 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 very thorough reporter. You can dislike his opinion on things, but Jonas, very thorough. Who is more likely to make this up? Jonas, who just, oh yeah, he just pulled. Listen, I've got a 20-year career being a Leafs reporter. The organization's going to be super mad at me if I put this story in print. Or the Toronto Maple Leafs organization who are like, no. Nothing to see here. Shut up. Like, who's got, like, here's the thing. My wife's a lawyer. This is what she always says. Who's got more incentive? And Hayden just said it in my ear. Who's got more incentive to not be truthful? Is it the team that's struggling? Or if it's the reporter who's always kind of just done his job and done a good job? Oh, he needs the clicks. Really? He needs clicks for one story? I don't know, man. I don't think so. That's not how it works. You want to be a good reporter for the New York Times? You got to drive subscriptions, drive interest. And by the way, it's a cumulative season-long thing. Like it's like when people say, oh, man, you guys love it when the Leafs lose. Steve loves it when the Leafs lose because his numbers spike. You think one episode is going to support an entire company? Are you out of your... No way, man. We need this to work for like months. We need to be good for months and years. Jonas is in the same business. He's got to be consistent. This story blew up in the Maple Leafs faces. And they're out there doing damage control. Now, there's one side, there's the other, and there's the truth. Always in everything. But guys, do not take them at their word. If there's one thing I am begging you at all times, okay? When a report comes out, unless there is verifiable proof that it is wrong, and they go, here's the paperwork, and they wave it in your face, remember that the big multi-billion-dollar organization does like to save face, and they're counting on you to just take their word. I'm not saying they're totally wrong, but I also don't think that they're totally right. And I think here the other saying I always love, and this is one my wife taught me. She's like, the truth has a ring to it. And I was like, damn, that's a good one. The truth has a ring to it. You can feel the truth. It's in there. When someone's lying to you and you feel like they're not lying, you know when you walk away from a conversation and you think somebody might be being not truthful and you get that cloudy-headed feeling? This is what I'm talking about. So I think, and we'll talk about it more on the STP tomorrow. I think this is yet another thing that's hit the Toronto Maple Leafs that they don't want. Now, I'll give Treliving credit. He said, super disappointed in the last homestand. They grabbed 1 point out of a possible 10. I mean, who's not going to be disappointed in that, right? That's just downright ridiculous and bad. There's no excuse. It's ridiculous. And he didn't want to make any sweeping, broad statements about where they were. Are they buyers? Are they sellers? You saw the Kevin Weeks report today, probably, that the Leafs are one of like 11 teams in on Artemi Panarin. Brad is known for this. He's known to be in on everybody. Everybody. By the way, faceoff's about to start, and there it is. Austin Matthews wins the draw. I just want to give you the note that even if the Leafs had made the decision to be sellers right now, they're not going to telegraph it to the Leafs. They're not going to tell you right now. They're going to make that decision over the Olympic break. Once they're all back home and the games aren't at 10 o'clock at night, and then I think we're going to know. I think during the Olympics, one of the more interesting things about being a Leaf fan is going to be, are they selling or buying? It won't even be Team Canada. So I leave you with that. We're about 40 seconds into the game. Seattle's already got a shot on net. So one of the things that I think is really interesting, and Mike Kelly posted this, this is something to watch out for. Mike Kelly from the NHL Network posted about the Leafs defense a few days ago, and it's really, really, really bad, this graphic. Tavares giving chase into the zone here. Shots allowed per game, 38.1. That's 32nd in the league. There's only 32 teams. Slot shots allowed, 32nd in the league. There's only 32 teams. Rush chances, 7.3 per game. That's 32nd in the league. And look at that. And the Leafs have already allowed a goal. Cycle chances, 31st in the league. Expected goals against, 29th in the league, as in they're allowing the 29th most goals in the league, and then actual goals is 30th in the league. So Matty Beniers with the goal, by the way. And part of the reason for this is that they never have the puck. Look what happens here. Carlo and Riley are just like, who is Morgan Riley covering there? Look, Carlo's got his guy. What's Riley doing? Where's he going? Who's he got? Who are you chasing Eberle behind the net? Is that what you're going to do? Just crazy. Already. Absolutely crazy, man. It's brutal. Anyway, we are going to have a good time tonight. But I needed to talk about that off the top. And look at that. We're already down 1-0. One shot, one goal for the Seattle Kraken. By the way, shout out to everybody tuning in from Seattle. I think this is the first Seattle game I've ever personally streamed. So I think this is Hayden and I work together a lot. We've done a lot of playoff games. We've done a lot of regular season games. I don't think we've ever done a Kraken game, Hayden. So if you are from the Seattle area or you're just Washington State, my family lives there, about 3 hours outside of Seattle. They're Mariners fans. They're Kraken fans. And I want to congratulate you because the Seahawks are back in the Super Bowl against the flipping Patriots because, we needed more Seahawks and Patriots championships, didn't we? We just have not had enough in the last, I don't know how many years. Ridiculous. Yep. Yeah. Lawton and Lawrence are out there with Easton Cowan tonight. I like this line. I think there's a lot of energy here. I know there's a lot of super chats, and I will get to them. Don't you worry. We got a commercial break coming up. Oh, there we go. We got a face-off. Let's get to it. So first off, Francois Labelle dropping the $2 for Fighting for Love, best intro song ever. Meme Empress, is there anything better than beating the Jets? I mean, isn't that the last team the Leafs actually beat? Was the Jets? Brutal. Francois Labelle, Habs beat the Nordiques 7-3 tonight. Yo, I got a question, guys. The Nords / Avalanche, are they bad now? What the hell happened? They lost to the Leafs a few weeks ago, and they've been, other than beating the Leafs, bad. Like, super bad. Brutal. What's that, Hayden? They're shaking in their boots with Minnesota coming up behind them. And you know what? Producer Drew is not happy right now. Although I have to say, it was cool seeing the Nordiques Canadiens jerseys tonight. That was neat. I still think it's weird. Like, it's a bizarre thing that Colorado is doing that. I think it's bizarre that Carolina does Hartford, but I mean, it sells jerseys, right? Francois Labelle, you dropped 5 SDPN memberships, and we love and appreciate you, sir. Thank you. The Trash Panda, O-Dog read right through him afterwards. Did O-Dog go in on Treliving afterwards? I didn't hear that. JGD says, here for the vibes and the fun conversations. Thank you, Adam, and thank you, SDPN. Well, thank you for joining us. Again, it's 10:15 here in Toronto. It's late. You don't have to be here, but you are, and I appreciate you. Francois Labelle, hello to all the lizard grippers. Oh, yeah. Thanks for that, Cassie, if you're here. I think Cassie's not coming in tonight, but Cassie insinuated that I was, in fact, a lizard person. Meme Empress. Schnook says, man, I hate what the Leafs are this year, and especially how they've played recently. But what the hell was that intro, Sportsnet? I didn't see the intro. I don't know what happened. Hayden missed it too. I don't know what happened in the intro, so I don't know. Meme Empress, Sunday in Tampa is going to have peak conditions for Florida because it's actually going to snow in Tampa. Yes, it is. I despise snow weather without snow. It's funny how that worked. You're right. Russell says, can Minton chill? 16 points in his last 15 games. We were talking about that in the group chat tonight. Like, I liked that trade when it happened. I did. I don't like it much now, and I'll tell you. Schwartz is down, and he looks hurt. Is it a knee on knee thing? Oh, Hayden says it looks like he just bumped into Waugh. Maybe just an awkward. So Waugh is actually right there, like trying to make sure he's okay. Okay. Huh. Oh, I think they just kind of collided. Oh, you know what that probably is? I hope it's not serious. I don't think that is. It's one of those like where a knee catches you in the thigh and it gives you what they call a contusion, which is literally a bruise. I used to get those in hockey too from time to time. I remember I had like one so bad that my hip to my knee was black. Like just, it was crazy. I finished the game though. And then afterwards, my dad, after a couple of days, was like, I was wearing shorts. And my dad's like, "What is that?" And then he took me to the doctor, and the doctor's like, "You should probably not play." James Stemler, Sabres, Bruins, Habs, all won. What are the odds that our management group finally realizes it's over? What are their odds? I mean, and then he says, "I'm tired out of it." You know what? I think the odds are that they know. It's a question of whether or not your ego will allow you to. And it's a question not too of whether or not like you've told management that you were going to be this is your Stanley Cup window. You told Rogers that this is your Stanley Cup window and now you're telling me actually we're bad, super bad and we need to retool. That doesn't make you look good to your boss, right? So then what happens is sometimes these guys will like double down and go and get like an Artemi Panarin and cross their fingers that it gets better, but it's really a desperation move. I really hope they don't do that. Stoller's, by the way, back in the net. The Trash Panda, 8-ball never lies. Oh, the 8-ball lies. All right, 8-ball. Will the Toronto Maple Leafs win this game? We'll see if the 8-ball is a liar. Ask again later. Fine, I'll ask in the second period. 8-ball. And what else we got here? Canada Matt, the Leafs are like Homer Simpson with the union guy who can do less work. Rachel Bishop 77 dropping 10 SDPN memberships. Hey, welcome. Zeif House just signed up to be a new member. LQ Huang, so glad to hear you all discuss Jonas's article tomorrow. Eye-opening to read, but happily take the Leafs loss for the Pens. Yeah, fair enough. Puppy Girl 2023. Hey, Adam, I hope you can enjoy the game tonight. I will enjoy the game. I'll enjoy the game because you all are here to enjoy it with me. And Chiefs meanie. Oh, big save by Stollers, his first of the game, and another one. Chiefs meanie says, in my humble opinion, the Avs regression is due to the fact that scores like McKinnon are cooling off, goaltending not being good, and their schedule no longer feasting on a bad Western Conference team like the Blues or Jets. Well, fair enough. The Leafs had all those opportunities, by the way, early on. Soft schedule, mostly at home, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? They still friggin' did not take advantage of it. At least the Avalanche did. Sedin Magic 15, good evening, everyone. Can't wait to spend this evening with my favorite group, the Gripper Nation. Get your feet out, everybody. Let's go. Put your feet up. Enjoy your feet. Appreciate your feet. Love your feet. Meme Empress, I've got a friend coming over to watch the stadium game. Mini movie theater setup. Oh, good for you. Bolts, your prediction is Bolts win 4-1 going into it. Made a very nasty save in the first. Oh, okay. Bolts 4-1 going into it. Okay, I got you. Demon Hunter, MOG. I'm at the game. Thank you for the vibes. Hey, thanks for tuning in from the game. Hayden says one Kraken player I'd want on the Leafs. Easy. Because he already was a Leaf. He just never played a game. Jared McCann. The one that got away. The depth scorer that got away. I will tell you this. If the Leafs had been able to get Jared McCann and keep him, which they could have easily done if they had just exposed Justin Hall, he would have been the guy that would have made Zach Hyman's departure less painful. I'm not saying he's Zach Hyman, But Jared McCann has put 40 goals in a net in a season. And I feel like you'd be like, okay, we lost time in the cap crunch, whatever, COVID, blah, blah, blah. But Jared McCann, they're even doing a feature on him right now. This guy rocks. Also, he's on my fantasy team. So if anybody in Seattle is going to score tonight, it can't be Matty Beniers. It must be Jared McCann. James Stemler, speaking of which, Wedgwood had quite the if you're a goaltender 10 the goal moment tonight. I didn't see it. I should have. Did not see it. Here we go. Wes Richard spent a fortune in August on lower bowl tickets for the Leafs and Nucks game on Saturday. Saw an ad for someone selling a pair of tickets for $60. Ooh, mistakes were made, Adam. Hey, Hayden, can you copy that and send that to me? I want to use that on the STP tomorrow. I think that's great. And it's not great, Wes. Like, I feel for you, but it kind of shows you how far we've fallen. And it looks like the Seattle Kraken are going to the box. By the way, me and Memphis. Would Gord still count for the Kraken? Or I love Yanni Gord, but no. Steve would have said Yanni Gord. Steve has a man crush on Yanni Gord. Brandon Montour. Hayden says, why didn't you say Brandon Montour? I like Brandon Montour. I think Jared McCann. Brandon Montour would really help them. They do need kind of like a stud defenseman, and they don't have that. Listen, I chose Jared McCann for selfish purchases or the purposes. You know, you could have let Kerfoot or Hall go, but you let Jared McCann go. What? Canada Matt, pity me. I'm traveling to Vancouver Saturday versus Van. I do pity you. Although, you know what? It should be a good game. When two bad teams play each other, it's fun. Oh, nice out front. Just walked it out front. Michelli back to the line for Riley. To Michelli. I think that was supposed to be a pass for Matthews. He just ended up shooting it at Matthews' face. Oh, the Leafs. Wes Richard dropping 5 SDPN memberships. Thank you, Wes. Morgan Riley drops the puck back. Matthias Michelli. This is a guy that if the Leafs are selling, he needs to Maselli himself and do a really good job because I didn't like that. If he does the Maselli on a team, then we can get some good prospects back. And I think we're going to need it. Oh, Tavares made a great play. Nyes was just not able to get there. Through the legs, backward pass. It would have been perfect. I will point you guys to the fact that Austin Matthews has not gotten a pass on this power play, except for the back pass Morgan Riley just gave him. You have a guy that used to score. He's the leading scorer on the team. You have the leading scorer on the team and you don't get him a pass when you're set up in the offensive zone. There's no world where that's acceptable. Imagine Alexander Ovechkin not receiving a pass on the power play. You have a shooter. Let him shoot. Domi across. Cowan just sort of missed. Domi again. To Nick Robertson. Nick Robertson was removed. Shot. And he just misses it. Rebound out front. Oh, close. Goalie did not know where the puck was. And then Domi shoots it and it hits poor Nick Robertson in the back. That didn't feel good. Oh, Domi to Robertson. Robertson just whiffs on the one-timer. Honestly, the second power play unit looks way better than the first power play unit. That's bad, but also, at least somebody looks good. Lawton now out there with Lorentz. These guys are always in the offensive zone. It's kind of crazy because they're supposed to be like the defense guys, but Yarncroke's out with them. And they are always making shit happen in the offensive zone, except for right there where Jake McCabe just threw the puck to Seattle out front. Why were we doing that? Why are we doing that? What was that? Man, Jake McCabe is really fighting it. And the McCabe-Ekman-Larson pair does not work. They are getting crushed in their minutes. You can look it up anywhere you look up advanced stats. That pairing doesn't work. Both of those guys are great defensemen. They don't work together. Graham Renfro could be worse. Canes gave up Morgan Geekie. Yeah, that's true. but the Leafs have given up more than that. Me member says, I don't blame Steve. How can you give up Gordy? Or how can you hate Gordy? Well, nobody hates Yanni Gord. Yeah, Hayden makes a good point. Seattle also gave up Morgan Geekie. Zach says, need the Leafs to clutch up and win this game so the Kraken front office don't double down on this incredibly mid roster. I got news for you. Ron Francis's brand is mid. In Carolina, that was a mid roster. And here in Seattle, it's a mid roster. He loves mid. Hayden says he loves missing the playoffs by 3 points. It's his favorite. It's his brand, Hayden. It's his brand. Here we go. What else we got? We got a lot of super chats. People are fired up tonight. Sedin Magic 15. I think Saturday could be one of those wacky 7-5 or 8-6 games. Well, you know what? Canucks and Leaf fans deserve it. We deserve something entertaining to watch because boy, oh boy, the Leafs are not exciting. I haven't watched a lot of Canucks games lately, but I would imagine that they're not the most entertaining product on the ice. Rennie says, fam, you know the Leafs are cooked when you open Sportsnet and you have to scroll to find the Leafs feed on the main page. Ooh, that's not a good look. Maybe they put it down there because they know Leaf fans will look. Hayden said it's also the 10 p.m. game and a bunch of other Canadian teams play. That's true. Habs Dreamer. How many losses do the Leafs need to get Frankenstein Berube out? I think Berube finishes out the season. And then they make that call in the summer. Aiden says, do you know what they would have to go the rest of the regular season to match their point total from last season? I believe, isn't it like 25, 3-2 or something? 29. Oh, no, that's from 21, 22. Right. Yeah. So if the Leafs wanted to match, and CJ tweeted this out and people got so mad, but if the Leafs wanted to match their point total from 21, 22 in the regular season, they would have to win every single game the rest of the season. They'd have to go 29-0-0. That's where we're at, guys. Yuck. Dude Meister, buyouts for 44 and 88 in July if NMC not removed. Okay, you're not buying out William Nylander. He's been great this year. And Morgan Rielly can't be bought out. Morgan Rielly will get traded. They'll sit down with him and they'll be like, Morgan, it's over. So where do you want to go? Let's figure something out. Matthews. Trying to make it happen. Back out. Ekman Larson at the point. He's going to shoot. Just misses it. Oh, and another great rebound. Leafs have found that weird spot on the boards a couple of times, and both times the goalie has no idea where it is. It comes out on a rebound through his legs, and nobody out front to bury it. Oh my God. Huge collision. Ekman Larson. Well, Hayden's looking up the buyout on Morgan Rielly. There's no chance. He's not getting bought out. Oh, my God. So he's still not up. Should this be a penalty? I don't know that it should. Berkeley Catton is in serious pain. Oliver Ekman Larson is a tough customer. But I don't know that this is I got to see the replay. What happens here? Catton is reaching for it, and but again, okay, that is head is the main point of contact there, but that's a clean hit because Catton is leaning forward. That should not be a penalty. I don't think. Am I crazy? Look, yeah, he's reached down. I mean, knowing the Leafs, George Peros is going to be all over them for it. But like, I'm not wrong. Hayden, am I crazy? Do I have my Leafs glasses on? It does look like a hockey play, right? Yeah. Hayden saying OEL just had the better angle. Sedin Magic 15, McCabe needs to sit. He's clearly hurt. Well, yeah. I mean, he'll get the chance to sit after this road trip. 1313 SKR. It's Dirty Pool. but get Willie to waive, and don't forget his brother can be shipped out, and he'd probably go with Alex given the option. No, guys. There are places that if you had to trade William Nylander or you wanted to trade William Nylander, he would accept a no trade. Listen, it's just a matter of the no trade, the no move clause and the no trade clauses are not, they're not an absolute no. They are I want to control my destiny. Because if a team comes to you and they go, we don't want you here anymore, we'd actually like to trade you. Do you really want to stay? Probably not. Probably not for long. Like imagine you work really hard for your boss. I'm sure you guys at your jobs, you work really hard. And your boss goes, you know what? We don't really like you, but we're not allowed to let you go. I'd start looking for work elsewhere. That's what I would do. So I think that, if the Leafs really did want to trade William Nylander, you have to think about markets that he might want to go to. Hayden says he's looking at the buyout right now of William Nylander, just in case you wanted to know. And he's like, it would literally destroy the franchise. How much money are we talking? So it's almost 12 million for 2 years, and then it's 6 million for a year, and then it's back up to 11 million for a couple years. And just under a million until 2038. Yeah, well, listen, you're not buying him out anyway. He was actually extremely good in the lineup this year. But also, that you might as well listen, if it's gonna be 11 million, you might as well play him. Um, Phenom says, best meme of the year, Frankencoach or Willie Bird? Frankencoach. Frankencoach is sick. TMB Sports. Last year, they finished 19-7-3 in their last 29. If they do that again, they'll finish with 97 points. So if the Leafs finished 19-7-3 in the next 29 games, the cutoff is supposed to be 97 points this year in the Eastern Conference. So they would just squeak in. But what are the chances the Leafs win 20 or 19 of their next 29? Do you guys have any faith in that? Rennie says OEL is going to get 5 games. LOL Leafs tax. Well, no penalty assessed. Puck is off the glass, and there's not going to be any penalty. But man, can you imagine if Jake McCabe had to go to the box for that? He's fighting it right now. Ghost of War says, "Call me crazy. How many times has the bottom feeder team that has no right winning gone on a heater starting in January and stormed into the playoffs? Happens a lot. Happens a lot. But the problem is that January is over." And you have to look at tonight's game like it's sometime after Valentine's Day. Remember, we're on a compressed schedule. And, we're at the stage now where, in a normal season, like if it was last year, we'd be already past 4 nations. Like we'd be done. Canada won. We're back to regular scheduled programming. If it was the All-Star game, it'd be even further. And so, if you look at the date on your computer or on your watch or on your phone, that's not the date they're at in terms of percentage of the season burned. And it's a lot later than you think. They got to make these calls soon. Meme Empress. So the Kraken are mirroring the Bolts first period tonight so far. We won 4-1 with 2 in the second and an empty net goal in the third. Ask the 8 ball again. You know what? The 8 ball's not going to get a question until the second period. Okay. I got an issue with the 8 ball. Right? It's on a timeout. Thank you, Hayden. It's on it. You're going to sit on the. My mother used to say that to me. You're going to sit on the stairs. Her timeout was sit on the stairs. And I'd sit on the stairs, and then she'd come over, and I'd be like, kids get that sobbing cry or whatever. And it was probably over vegetables that I didn't want to eat. And then she'd talk me through it. Hayden says it's better than what he got. I don't even want to ask. Jomo says, after the Caps game, us Kraken fans are primed. Hold on, primed for. Primed and want a retroactive call. Yeah, that's fair. That was pretty rough. I get it. I don't think Oliver Ekman-Larsson, he can be a tough guy, but he's not like dirty. So I think that was an honest to goodness hockey collision. Francois Labelle, with the wins, the Bruins, Sabres, and Habs tonight, the bar for the Atlantic team is 67 points. That's so Leafy. True. It's always the number 67. Robert Bett says, don't worry, Adam. Leaf fans, we're Leaf fans. We are all crazy. Yes, we are. Man. Graham says Brandon Bussey's record is 23-1. Fewest games to reach 20 wins in NHL history. Insane waiver pickup. Imagine the Leafs had picked him up instead of Caden Primo. Both were available. I didn't see him get the Hockey Night in Canada. Hell no. Can I tell you guys a story? I have had a hell of a time with my goaltending in hockey fantasy, and I got Brandon Bussey after he got picked up, and I got a couple of wins out of him, and then Carolina didn't play him for a little bit, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to dump him. And so I got like his first 2 wins, and he's got 20, and I missed out on it. And I also made a horrific trade early. I drafted really well, and for whatever reason, I was worried about Brock Nelson. Brock Nelson was one of my centers. I had Matthews, Leo Carlson, Connor Bedard, and Brock Nelson. I was like, well, I could probably move one of these guys. And somebody offered me Matty Beniers. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take Matty Beniers because I think he's going to have a breakout year. Idiot. Not that Matty Beniers has been bad, but Brock Nelson's been on fire. Oh, brutal. Sierra Marlowe, I can't stay long. I work early in the AM, but big love to Gripper Nation. Big love to you, Sierra. Michael says, Adam, should they trade 34 when he's healthy because his contract expires in 12 months? The chances of him re-signing are low. If he is injured, the Leafs are done. Okay, so let me just tell you this. Matthews has got a few more years left, so already not an issue. I want to tell you this. Austin Matthews has not missed the playoffs once since coming to Toronto. When he was drafted, they made the playoffs that next year. He's the captain of the team. He's the leading goal scorer in franchise history. If they don't make the playoffs this year and he leaves because he wants to force his way out, that's a pretty awful look for a franchise that's given you 9 straight opportunities at a Stanley Cup. I will tell you this, everything that I have heard, and I don't have any direct sources in the Austin Matthews camp, but I do know people that do. He wants to win. He's not going to like losing like this, but Austin Matthews wants to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. So anybody that tells you that he doesn't is full of it. Don't listen to them. He wants to be a Toronto Maple Leaf, and he wants to win, which is exactly what I want. Oh, here we go. We got a goal. Nick Robertson didn't miss on that one-timer. Now, there's a guy I'm not sure wants to be a Toronto Maple Leaf, but he's still here a couple years after the trade request. Good old Nick Robertson. Good for him. So they dig it kind of out. Nick Waugh just slaps it over to him. Nice goal. Out there with Calle Yarncroke, by the way. That's a bizarre line combo. I guess they were midway through a change. Robertson could have had that exact shot on the power play, too. He just kind of missed. Good shot. Damn, dude. Now, there's a guy that could be a nice trade chip. I hate to make it all about that, but it does kind of feel that way, doesn't it? Yeah, so don't worry about the Austin Matthews thing. I think, and by the way, anybody that tells you that he's soft or he sucks or he doesn't care or he's a bad leader or whatever, don't listen to that. I'm not saying he's the greatest leader of all time. I don't know, but neither do they. Anybody that's saying, oh, he's a bad leader or whatever, you don't know. And everything we've heard about Austin from his teammates on and off the record, pretty positive. Yeah. Hayden says it's usually the worst guy saying he's a bad leader, and he's right. Those are people, they want clicks. And remember that at this point in his career, Austin Matthews has more goals than Alexander Ovechkin had at this point in his career. You cannot replace that. You can't. I think that's a good place to start. Everybody else, though, not precious. Jeremy Hubbard. If they lose this game, will we finally see Emo Steve during the LFR? You know what? You should tweet him. I think Emo Steve would be sick. I actually kind of love that idea. Red Wings 80. Nyes for Fox. Nyes plus for Fox make you good for future. I agree. If New York would take Matthew Nyes plus for Adam Fox, I would do it in a heartbeat. I don't know that they would, but two big saves by Anthony Stolarz, looking like last season's Anthony Stolarz. Wow, big save again. Wait, listen. Hey, if Anthony Stolarz is going to play like that, maybe they can go 29-0-0. The Leafs have looked good today. Now, Seattle's not a great team, but neither are the Leafs. So, hey, beat the guy in front of you if you can. It's tied right now. Rennie says, did you boys see the article in the New York Times, The Athletic, regarding the influx of injuries? It was brutal. Rennie, if you want to hear me go off on that, you can just rewind this video because I talk about it right off the top of the broadcast. People were really cool about it too. You guys all tuned in and listened and hung out. Morgan Riley, over to Matthews. That was a sneaky little backhand. Bobby McMahon. Should we call him Bobby McOiler? He's from Alberta. He's an unrestricted free agent. The Leafs have had some conversations about an extension, but sure would look good next to McDavid. And that first round pick would be pretty cool for the Leafs. Oh, Matthews just tried to slide it across. Domi with the puck again. Seattle, there's a player on Seattle without a stick. I haven't seen his number yet. Morgan Riley to Austin Matthews. Downloaded Domi. Domi is looking around. Riley at the line. I don't know if that was in. That almost looked like it was offside. Matthews got it to Riley. Riley couldn't get it with the stick, but he kind of redirected it over to Domi. It was a cool play. Oliver Ekman-Larsson at the blue line to Riley. It looks like they're going to try to break up Ekman-Larsson and McCabe. I hope that's the way it goes. Why not Carlo McCabe? There's Matthews. Shot. And a save by DeCord. Okay, what else we got? Michael says, Adam, I record what you said today. Don't trade 34 yet. Absolutely. We're not trading 34. Sedin Magic 15, you did Brock Nelson for Matty Beniers. Did Barry Trotz hack your account? Listen, it's not my proudest moment. I didn't have to admit it to you guys, but I'm admitting it to you guys. I was taking a bet on Beniers. And by the way, of the 4 centers I drafted, all of them turned out pretty great, except Leo Carlson got injured in mid-December and barely played and scored and hasn't scored since. And then Bedard went down. So then I got screwed. And then Matthews was cold as ice. Robertson backtracks. Nice little move. Downloaded Yarncroak, who's out there with Waugh. Carlo with a shot. So they've got Cowan off of this third line. And Yarncroak on it. I'm not really sure why. I always thought the third line was doing a good job. Maybe they're just messing around with things, but I have always thought, hey, they're doing a great job. Maybe they're needing Easton Cowan to do some things that we can't see, but I never had a problem with that third line. Sean says, I hope the Leafs win for you, Adam. You know what, Sean? Win or lose, I know what the outcome is. Here comes Stevenson. Oh, good save by Stolarz. Oh, that's not Stevenson. I thought that was the same number. It's not. It's not. It's Winterton. Matthew says, as an Oiler fan, I prefer Nick Waugh. We need a 3C. Listen, if you're willing to give up Savoy, Ike Howard, let's chat. Hayden's got a trade proposal, everybody. Let's get into Hayden's trade proposal. What do we got, Hayden? Bobby McMahon, Nick Waugh to Minnesota 4. Yes, for Wallstad? Get out of here. I would take that in a New York minute. I have heard, you know what I heard about Wallstad? I've heard that they might flip him to a team that's willing to give them like a prospect and a first round pick, and then flip that prospect first round pick to New York for Vinny Trocheck. Because New York doesn't want. I mean, they might need a backup goalie, but I think they're insane to consider trading Wallstedt. I understand why they're doing it, but you have Wallstedt, Gustafsson. What if Gustafsson gets injured? Like, you need a platoon goalie situation in the playoffs. Who would be your backup goalie? You know what I mean? Get Fleury out of retirement? You could. You could. You could for the vibes, for the experience. Oh, man. Can you imagine Allen's face if Fleury came out of retirement? James Stemler, Nick Kiprios, I love him, saying more wild stuff today, saying the Leafs should trade Wool for Binnington. I swear he's just fishing for reactions. I don't think Kipper is fishing for reactions. Like, I don't think he just does that. But again, if I was on his show, it would be a fun conversation. But like, if he was like on the SDP with us and he made a trade proposal like that, I'd be like, Nick, in what world? He makes more money. He's less good. Why do we want Jordan Binnington? I don't get it. Denise Campbell, 67, says, hey, gang, busy today and tomorrow. Go SDPN. Well, listen, Denise, we're happy that you tuned in even for a minute. We appreciate you. Meme Empress, not going to lie, if the Leafs want to touch a cup before 2067, y'all might need a freak of Kucherov's breed. Freak leg on leg happened tonight, and he played after. Yo, listen, Nikita Kucherov is my kind of crazy. That guy's a lunatic. Leafs trying to kill a penalty here. Their PK has not been as good lately, and I think it's probably because of they don't have the otherworldly goaltending they were getting. Yeah, Kucherov's insane. He's so flippin' good, and you're afraid he might kill you. What a great combo. Like, I don't know if people are afraid that McDavid might kill them. I don't know if, like, I know McKinnon's an intense dude, but I don't think you feel like he's going to kill you. Yeah, he might kill you if you eat a burger. You're right, Hayden. Maybe some, yeah. Oh, don't get the fries. Definitely don't get the fries. Chickpea pasta only. But like, Kucherov is unique in that way. Evgeny Malkin at his best was like that too. I mean, he's still like that, but he's just not. He's not Evgeny Malkin at 30. He's Evgeny Malkin at 38. Malkin at his absolute best was like, I'm going to score 5 times and I'm going to kill you. It's crazy. Blue Fire, for a trade, would you take a Nylander for Pettersson? No chance, but thank you. Madison says Fleury was on Wild Twitter today in his gear. Oh, baby. It's begun. Yeah, I could see that. Fleury coming back, Wallstedt going. I think they keep bringing up Trocheck in relation to Bill Guerin because of the Team USA connection. I like Vinny Trocheck. People are a little down on him right now. I just think he's a bit old. Like, is there nobody else? Like, to me, you need anyone that can win a faceoff. Like, what? Like, why didn't they go get Philip Deneau? Like, look what he was traded to Montreal for. He would have been perfect. I think a guy that they should look at is Nazem Kadri. Now, does Calgary want Jesper Wallstedt? They've already got Dustin Wolf. Maybe that doesn't happen, but maybe that's why you trade Wallstedt to somebody else. Because New York getting Wallstedt doesn't make a ton of sense either with Shesterkin. So they're not going to move Shesterkin, Hayden. There's no way. I think you move Wallstedt to a team that needs it, and you call the Senators, and you call the Senators, and you call the Senators, and you call them, and you call them, and you call them. They need a goalie. And then you get whatever the Senators give you, and then you trade it for a guy like Nazem Kadri. But, the other thing, too, what could make sense is if you were going to do a big deal with Calgary and Wallstedt was going to go there, then that gives Calgary a pretty formidable goaltending duo. And you could get Devin Cooley back as insurance. Are we cooking? I don't know. You don't mind that, Hayden? I'd say, like, Devin Cooley's had a good year too, but he's a lot cheaper. Although Marc-Andre Fleury, that then kind of puts that to the side. I don't know. Scepter says, would Dallas do a Nylander for Robertson? I'm sure they would. I think they would. Yeah, Hayden says it makes a good point. It doesn't seem like a Jim Nill kind of player. You guys, I keep hearing Doug Armstrong's name in relation to the Toronto Maple Leafs. If they do make a change at general manager, Jim Nill's contract's up. I would love for him to be the GM of the Leafs. That would be sick. I hope that if they are making a change at GM with Tree, go get a guy like Jim Nill. Look at what he's built in Dallas. Unreal. Stanley Cup Finals in 2020, I think, right? And then they fell off a little bit. They lost their best defenseman. We already poached Dallas's one of Dallas's head scouts, the guy that found all the really great, like Wyatt Johnson, all those guys. Jim Nill was also the architect of the early 2000s Red Wings. Oh, the guy. Oh, sorry. Oh, the guy that the Leafs poached was. Yeah, Jim Nill was part of that Detroit team too, though, wasn't he? Was he not an ATM there? Right. So Jim Nill brought that scout to Dallas. Jim Nill makes. Oh, I'd love Jim Nill. So would Dallas do a Nylander for Robertson? I don't think so. Also, can you not, in a tax-free state, can you not get Robertson signed for 11.5? I don't know. Raul Mirio. Raul, I don't know if you just meant to drop $10 for fun, but I appreciate you. There was no comment with it, though. So if you would like to make a comment, please do. Meme Empress, you forgot Cooch revels in being a villain on the occasion, too. Case in point, so against the Hawks, pretty sure he can smell fear. Oh, I know that, man. I remember him at the All-Star game in Toronto, just being a sourpuss. To be fair, though, most of those guys are hungover the entire time they're here. So, Tool fan, how's Panarin going to Washington? Panarin going to Washington. The Washington Capitals have looked anemic lately. Hayden doesn't think the Rangers will trade in division again. I don't know. Panarin's a tough one because, anybody they trade him to, he's basically demanding an extension. I want an extension. So, yeah, I don't know. All right. Hey, Hayden, what's the clip? Oh, hey, you know what? Speaking of Panarin, Chris Johnson from today talking about Panarin and his potential landing spot on the CJ Show, a show you should check out. I'll see you at the beginning of the second period.
Artemi Panarin. We're going to be talking a lot about him on today's episode. Held out currently of the New York Rangers lineup for roster-related reasons. We are all waiting on a trade. We've been talking about this for the last couple of weeks. We got to go in on him. CJ, what are you hearing? Possible destinations? We got to go through the gauntlet with this one.
Yeah, and understandably so. I mean, the expectation is that he's already played his last game as a member of the Rangers and was a home run free agent signing for them back in 2019. Has led the team in scoring for 7 straight years, although he'll probably be passed by Mika Zibanejad later this season, assuming he is done with the Rangers. But it's the end of an era, and it's a big name that I think very well could be moved here before the trade freeze kicks in before the Olympics next Wednesday. So, where we're at with Panarin is it's a tougher one to read than sometimes in these circumstances. Often when you see a player held out of a game as he was on Wednesday night, it's a sign something's about to come down imminently. My impression through reporting as of Thursday morning is that's not the case in the circumstance. And it's because it's a complicated deal for everyone to complete here. I mean, certainly part of this trade seems to be the fact that Artemi Panarin wants a contract extension in place for him to waive his no move clause. Doesn't want to be in a situation where he might get traded right now and then potentially have to sign somewhere else on July 1st. So he's looking for a little security. I think that can be a positive in terms of what the Rangers get back in this trade. I think that does maximize his value as an asset, but it leads to more moving pieces being at play here as the Rangers kind of work through everything. What I can tell you as well, Julian, as of this morning, is that some of the teams involved here, they're not even sure how advanced this process is. I do know some were surprised even to see him held out of Wednesday's game because they weren't under the impression anything was close and that this might be kind of a tactic or a way to just force things along a little quicker. So, I certainly don't think anything is imminent. I don't think we can get to a point where we can identify only one team. I think that there are still multiple teams involved in these conversations, and we're just going to kind of have to see how this evolves here in the coming days.
Very fascinated with one big silly question I have with regards to Artemi being out. Like, we're not expecting him. It seems like we're not expecting him to play until the Olympic break. But like, is there like a provision in the rules that says like, okay, like he's allowed to be out for roster related reasons? Like, is there like the Rangers are totally in the right to do this?
They are. I remember a couple of seasons ago before the trade deadline, a player was held out. I want to say it might have been Gavrikov in Columbus, and it ended up being an extended number of games before he was dealt to LA. And, I don't know that he or his representative were happy with that at the time. But I think this is kind of acceptable practice at this stage. I mean, look, if Artemi Panarin had played that game against the Islanders on Wednesday and suffered an injury, I mean, what would we be talking about on the pod today?
You're
about
right.
What idiots these guys are for, putting themselves in a position where they could take an asset that is going to bring them back some value and not doing so. Now, again, the circumstances around this trade are a little bit different because Panarin has full control over the situation. Ultimately, it's where he wants to go, right? A little reminiscent. It's not the exact same as the Rasmus Anderson deal we had earlier this month, but, Anderson and his representative, spoke with the Bruins through a weekend, on a potential contract extension. Ultimately, that didn't lead to a contract. And I think the price that Boston was willing to pay for him didn't make as much sense for Calgary if they're trading him as a rental. And ultimately he winds up going to the Golden Knights. I mean, this sort of thing does happen. And right now Artemi Panarin's agent has the ability to speak to other teams and see where things go with a contract. A number that I've been hearing out there is that he's looking for a 4-year extension. Remember, too, we're talking about a player who's 34 years old. So,
answered my next question.
Getting a little older and isn't looking for much of a pay cut, if any at all. And so he's got an $11.6 million cap hit right now. I've heard anything from the $11 to $12 million range on what that 4-year extension might look like. And so I don't know how many teams are willing to pony that up, plus the assets to get him. But that's kind of all what's being worked through at this moment. And that's why I say I don't get the feeling it's down to just one team. Now, ultimately, as Panarin's agent speaks to GMs and figures out, who might pay that, what might work, then maybe he ends up going back to the Rangers and saying, it's only this team we're going to sign a deal with. I mean, I think that's to be determined. So, this is the challenge of trading a player with a no movement clause. I mean, not just a superstar player. This can apply to others that have that kind of level of trade protection. You have to involve outside forces. It's not just going to the market and saying what's the best deal and taking it. Of course, you've got to, adhere to what the player's wishes are as well. So, this might take a few days. I think it's telling the Rangers have made it known not only were they scratching him Wednesday, but don't expect to see him for a week until that roster freeze kicks in. And, obviously they're going to make every effort to find something that works for Artemi and move him before that 3:00 Eastern deadline on February 4th.
One big storyline we've discussed a lot on this show is, particularly in the East, how close the standings have been and how it's taken some time for the sellers and the buyers to kind of, differentiate themselves. I wonder how likely it could be that Panarin could end up going to a team that, even if they're on the outside looking in, like they still think they could be a buyer ahead of the deadline.
Well, I think some teams, in the picture here kind of fit that mold. I mean, the Washington Capitals have made no secret of the fact they're looking for a top line type of winger. That's even including a world that includes Alex Ovechkin, and Ovechkin isn't signed beyond the season, so I think it's doubly so in the situation they find themselves now. So that's a team I could see potentially emerging to the top here. The teams I've heard more about are the Carolina Hurricanes, who clearly are a playoff team and will be in a buying posture no matter what goes on, and the Los Angeles Kings, who are a little bit of an in-betweener right now. Shang Peng reported that the San Jose Sharks, the team he covers out in San Jose, that they've had conversations around this. And by no means am I presenting those teams as the only ones involved. It's just the only kind of ones that I've either heard scuttlebutt or seen credible reporting on. There could be other teams that come out there. Again, a lot of this comes down to what Panarin wants, and that's always been the trickiest part to nail down. He hasn't said anything publicly about how he's navigating this. Obviously now that he's shut down, I don't even think the Rangers reporters, I guess they might see him on the ice if he's out doing conditioning skates, but they're not going to see him most likely face to face again until, he's probably wearing another jersey. So, I imagine it'll be all sort of pretty quiet on his end of things until this transaction, gets worked through. So, it's intriguing, but I mean, look, this is a player, this has been a pretty good trade season in the NHL. I mean, sometimes you get lost in the details as you go through it, but we've had a fair number of deals already this month. You obviously had the Quinn Hughes deal, pretty much a blockbuster deal in December, going from Vancouver to Minnesota. A player of Panarin's ilk, even when a rental doesn't move, I would say, too often in the NHL. No. I think that the return on this is going to be a first round pick plus a roster player, maybe a prospect too, probably some flexibility depending on what teams have for assets after that first round pick. Could depend too. I think the Rangers are willing to eat some salary in this deal to a certain point. And so depending on how much, it's not really salary actually in this case, it's more about cap space, but depending on how much retention there is, that could factor into exactly what the return ends up as. But, the Rangers are going to get a pretty fair haul here, even though they don't have the flexibility just to shop them to 31 other teams and take the best offer. So, this is kind of interesting and compelling, and unfortunate for my TSN colleague, James Duthie, who I saw this week. This is likely a deal, and I stress likely because nothing's done until it's done, that comes in well before the March 6th trade deadline.
I was thinking of him too, because I wonder if it would take him. I wonder what it would take for him to do like an Olympic break trade deadline show, because at this point, if it all works out, he's going to be the biggest name moving just before that freeze kicks in next week. Like I would love to do a show ahead of that, in advance of that, of course, 1 month away from the actual trade deadline. Well, you could make that work.
I don't want to put any spoilers out there, but I spent my entirety of Wednesday at an undisclosed location with James Duthie and other TSN colleagues. And we were filming a bit for trade deadline. And I texted some texts with James after the Panarin news broke. And he's like, this thing's going to be an 8-part series by the time we get to March 6th. So, I can't say much about what the skit's content is, but, my point is we're always ready for every contingency when it comes to Trade Center. TSN's been doing it for a long, long time, since before I got there, and it's cool to be part of the show. So we're still going to make it worth your while, no matter what names are left. And honestly, I don't view this actually as a negative thing for the trade market in general. I mean, if Panarin moves, and if even a couple other trades go down before we get to the Olympic roster freeze, I mean, everything's then frozen until the 22nd/23rd of February. Then you only have a window at that point of 11 days till the deadline. Like and so many teams still haven't really declared, are we buyers or sellers? I mean, internally, I don't necessarily mean publicly. I still think there's going to be a lot of action no matter what gets done here in the next few days. And so this, if anything, all of this is just, maybe another trade going down, getting a call here, but,
whoa, don't scare me like that,
but,
sir.
Well, it's an important person, but I'll return it because we're early in this recording, but I'll just say this, look, I just think that with the way this season has gone, it's kind of weird having this roster freeze and the way so many teams are close together. I mean, there's some unique conditions going on right now. Like we've seen a real turnover in the league. Oh man, a double call.
Do you want to take those calls? You should take those calls. I could always kill. Okay, so CJ is going to take these phone calls here, just in case you have to do that. That's totally fine. So pretty juicy stuff out of the Artemi Panarin situation here, with the idea of him potentially wanting a 4-year contract extension, a pretty massive haul in terms of a possible return in a trade that could work out for Artemi Panarin and the New York Rangers, if that is to be the case. The next thing I wanted to bring up with CJ is the fact that there's been some activity in New York as a whole. I mean, the New York Islanders also acquiring Andre Palat from the New Jersey Devils, Carson Soucy as well. Could be a really interesting time in New York over the next couple of days with the potential activity we could be getting. And like if Washington could get in on an Artemi Panarin, that could be really fascinating. I'm also looking at some other teams on the outside looking in of a playoff picture in the Eastern Conference. It'd be cool if a Western Conference power could get it. If San Jose, as CJ brought up, if San Jose is the team to get Artemi Panarin, what a story that would be, considering what they've been like the last handful of seasons. And with Macklin Celebrini kind of leading the way, some of the younger players up at the forefront, getting a player like Artemi Panarin, even if you just get him for 4 years, you turn yourself into a playoff team with that type of player. You're doing everything you can to find ways to build a really big winner.
Do it. What's up, everybody? Sorry. There's Hayden's Cats. Yay, Hayden's Cats. Woo, Hayden's Cats. Anyway, sorry, I was to be honest with you, I was having a snack in the kitchen. And I didn't make my coffee in time. I did watch a little bit of that intermission though with Elliott and Kipper. It sounds like the smoke signals are up. It sounds like Leafs are starting to look at selling. I don't know. We'll see. By the way, 3 seconds left on this power play. Out comes Steven Lorentz. To Stetcher. Shot. Oh, he's going to get a rebound. What a save by Decord. Holy moly. That was crazy. What a save. Wow. Great heads-up play. It's always dangerous when somebody gets out of the box and the defending team has the puck. And Stetcher gets a great shot on Joey Decord. Decord kicks it out, covers that rebound. Beautiful. I mean, to be honest with you, I'd love for Stetcher to have scored there just because I love Troy Stetcher and I want good things to happen to Troy Stetcher. But, dude, that was a hell of a save. Highlight reel. Woo! All right. You want to hear an insane stat, by the way? You guys ready for this? Here are the only forwards on the Leafs currently with more points than Fraser Minton this year. Nylander, Matthews, Tavares, and Nyes. And that's it. That's friggin' it. Nylander, Matthews, Tavares, Nyes. Minton has more points than every other Leafs forward. Ah! And you know what? If Minton was here, I have every assurance in the world that he would not have that many points. There's no way. Yep. He would not play that much. There's no way. There's no chance. Berube doesn't like young guys. Apparently, the Leafs didn't think he was going to be ready this year, which is why they traded him. Oh my God. It's crazy, man. Oh. It's funny. Every scout I talked to too saw Fraser Minton top out as like a third round or a third line center. And so that's what I thought he was going to be because I trusted them. Looks like he's going to be pretty damn good. Pretty good. John says, stop trading with Boston. Yeah, I know. You got to stop. The only trade that kind of worked out was the only trade that kind of worked out between Toronto and Boston was the Caberlet one. At least it should have worked out. The Leafs were just terrible at drafting. They got a couple of firsts. That was good. They were just a horribly managed team at that point. So we were talking about Jim Nill. I got a bit of a crush on Jim Nill. And we were talking about how he'd be a great next general manager for the Leafs if, in fact, Dallas does not extend his contract. Mark Leach is the guy that built the early 2000s Red Wings, which turned into the late 2000s Red Wings. Most of them stuck around. They drafted so well. I'm talking about Datsuk, Zetterberg, all that stuff. I'm going to run through some guys that Mark Leach drafted. Here we go. These are players for Detroit that played a minimum of 300 games. And he's now a Leaf guy. Oh, Robertson. Okay, you ready? Matthew Dandino, Thomas Holmstrom. If you're my vintage, you remember those names. That's 94. 98, Yuri Fisher and Pavel Datsuk. 99, Henrik Zetterberg. 2000, Nick Kronwall and Thomas Kopecky. 2002, Yuri Hudler, Thomas Fleischman, Valtteri Filppula, and Jonathan Eriksson. 2003, Jimmy Howard and Kyle Quincy. 2004, Johan Franzen. And then 05, Jakob Kindle, Justin Abdelkader, Darren Helm. 2006, future Leaf Sean Mathias. 2007, Brandon Smith, still playing. 2008, is Brandon Smith still playing? No, maybe he's not. Gus Nyquist, 2008. Thomas Tatar, 2009. Nick Jensen, 2009. 2010, Riley Sheehan, Calle Yarncroke, Peter Mrazek. 2012, Andreas Athanasiou. 2013, Anthony Mantha, Tyler Bertuzzi, Matthias Janmark. And then he moved to Dallas. Get ready, kids. I'm going to give it to you. Ready? This Mark Leach guy goes to Dallas, and he immediately gets Dennis Gurianov and Rupe Hintz. Then the next year, or actually a couple years later, 2017, Miro Heiskanen, Jake Ottinger, and Jason Robertson in the same draft. Heiskanen, Ottinger, Robertson, same friggin' draft. Leafs need to get some draft picks on the board. 2018, Ty Dellandrea. 2019, Thomas Harley. 2021, Wyatt Johnson. Last couple of years, the 2022 and 22 and 23, none of those guys have played any NHL games yet. And then he went and came to Toronto. And Hayden's like, well, they haven't played any games yet because Dallas is a wagon. This Mark Leach guy is good. You know what? I'm gonna put it out there. I think the Leafs should accumulate draft picks and let him do his job, man. David Morey is accusing me of doing cocaine. Adam is skiing the slopes. I'm not. This is just my energy. I also touch my nose a lot because whenever I'm in this room, it gets really itchy. I think we got to change the filter in the downstairs. Did Patrick or not Patrick Kane? Patrick Kane? Patrick Kane. Sorry, it's late. Patrick Kane passed Mike Modano tonight for all-time lead in American scoring. Good for him. That's incredible. Greatest American player ever? Yeah. And I love Mike Modano. I am partial to Mike Modano over Patrick Kane, but I do think Patrick Kane is the best American player all time, especially when you consider what Patrick Kane came back from. Like a very severe injury that even when he came back, he wasn't really himself, but he kept at it, and he's really effective for Detroit. I was kind of hoping one day that maybe one day, because Matthews kind of grew up, him being an American guy, grew up watching a lot of Patrick Kane's games. It would have been kind of neat to see the two of them play on a line, but like maybe at the Olympics or something like that, but I don't think that's going to happen. Oh, big save by Stolarz, and then a goal by Shane Wright, who never shoots the puck and who might get traded. Shane Wright, everybody. Yeah, that sucks. That just sucks. So what happens here? So it starts in with the Leafs just missing a wraparound from Matthews. Gets down into their zone. So Robertson, okay. So it's really, honestly, a really good Seattle goal. Schwartz just kind of puts it on the net, which is what you should do, and Wright's able to get the rebound, and a really nice backhand, too. Like, I can't even be mad at the Leafs at that. That's just a good Seattle play. Robert Bett has a trade proposal. Morgan Riley, Calle Yarncroke, and the 8-ball for Leon Draisaitl. You know what? I would do that trade. Sorry, 8-ball. You know what? Why don't we ask the 8-ball right now? Hey, 8-ball, since you wouldn't answer us in the first period, let's hear it now that it's 2-1. Are the Toronto Maple Leafs going to win this game? It is certain. Usually not certain with the Magic 8-ball, but you know what? We'll take it. Sure, they'll come back. It'll be great. Everybody's down. Oh, no. Magic 8-ball lying to us again. What a goal. Leafs defense just gets absolutely dangled. It is 3-1 Seattle all of a sudden. 31 seconds apart, these goals. Oh, Brandon Montour. Yeah, you know what? Hayden, you might have been right. Brandon Montour should have been the guy. Look at him go. Just walks them all the way down the ice, end to end, and then makes the pass. What a flippin'. Oh, that wasn't Montour that drove it. Oh, it's Gaudreau. Wow. And Montour kind of slipped it under Stolar's pads, too. That was sneaky. Sneaky boy. Oh, that's nice. Hi, Jesse. He's at home, not at the game. He's probably bored and sad. Sad, isn't it? Just painful, these guys. They stink on defense. They're terrible. Now the Leafs are going to have to try to score 2 goals to tie the game. Like 2 minutes in play ago, this was a 1-1 game. Yuck. Sedina Magic 15 says Shane Wright trying to raise his trade value. Yes. Oh, big shot there by Yarncroke and a save by Decord. Meme Empress, why are you surprised by the 8-ball trolling? I don't know. He's been working against us. Steven Tyler says, never mind, I have jinxed it. Dude Meister says, Steve's talking sell, so who's giving us great prospects and draft picks? Trade 88, 91, 34, 44, 95. Yeah, none of that's happening. They're going to trade guys like Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Bobby McMahon, maybe Nick Robertson, Max Domi. Yeah, that's the kind of things you should be looking at. If there's a Nylander trade, it's going to be a massive one. If Matthew Knies was traded, that would also be a massive one, but nah. So listen, some of you may have been gifted VIP subscriptions tonight, and you're in luck because in just a few hours, when you wake up in the morning, you will get a brand new VIP episode. Now you might be asking yourself, what is that? It's a 4th Steve Dangle podcast episode every single week that we do. And we cover things like pop culture. And, as part of the Steve Dangle podcast in the early days, for those of you who've been around a long time, you will know that we used to do hockey in the first hour. And then the second hour would just be like whatever. And it's kind of funny because now we do so much hockey that we haven't had time for any of that stuff. So that's where we do in the VIP. And anybody that's in the chat that's got a green colored name, they're all VIP members. And I'd like to ask you guys, what do you think? Was it worth it? And listen, if you were gifted the membership, you get to try it for the month. You get to go back and listen to all the episodes. And if you like it, consider subscribing. And there's another tier on YouTube because you can go for $6.99 a month. You can get all our episodes completely ad-free, and you get them earlier than the release. So when you see a Steve Dangle podcast episode come out, it's actually been out for a couple of hours. VIP members get it first. Burps McGurps, would you package Knies in a trade for someone like Heiskanen or Harley, since they probably don't need both? I will tell you this. The Dallas Stars are not letting any of those guys go. But if a player think about it like this. If Quinn Hughes was available now, not 2 months ago, if he's available now, would you try to put together a package based around Matthew Nyes for him? Because I sure would. And I think you'd get Vancouver's attention with something like that. Oh, Matthew Nyes, huh? He signed for a long time at a reasonable number, and he's a big power forward, and we could use a guy like that, and he has no trade protection? Can you get a top 5, top 10 defenseman eventually for something like that? Yeah, I think you can. He's averaging 28 minutes a night for Minnesota. Oh my God. And the Leafs get so exposed when they play somebody like Minnesota, or even like you could even see it against Columbus or Montreal. When you got a defenseman like Hudson, Werenski, Quinn Hughes, anybody that can wheel, the Leafs cannot touch them. Like Hughes just completely disrupted anything the Leafs tried to get going. Anyway, shout out to everybody that's given us a little bit of a boost for the VIP. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. We would love to get you in on that. Now it's interesting. Like Nick Kyprios has been on the train of, hey, why don't the Leafs just trade a goalie? So again, my question is, Joseph Woll's young and he's signed to a very reasonable cap number. That one seems to make the most sense. If you were going to trade a goalie, because Hildeby looks like he's NHL ready. But that leaves you with Anthony Stolarz, who's not looked good all season and doesn't look good tonight and didn't look good against Vegas. Like, Anthony Stolarz does not look good. He's not worth anything right now, I think, on the open market. It's fair to say. You're not going to get much. So what do? You think New Jersey, Hayden? Dougie Hamilton for Anthony Stolarz. Now we're cooking with gas. Markstrom's not it for sure. You're right. But they already have Jake Allen, I guess, is struggling then too. Robert Betts says, put the 8-ball on its LTIR. It's surely broken. 100%. Sadie Magic 15 says it's the best. The VIP ad free is the best $6.99 a month I've ever spent. Well, that means a lot to me. Leafs need to trade for Riker Evans. Sure. By the way, I don't think New Jersey wants to trade Dougie Hamilton right at this moment. They might do that this summer because Luke Hughes just got a pretty nasty injury, and I think he's going to be out a while. Hayden says Jack Hughes left the game today. Yes, he did, but the injury is lower body and not expected to be serious. That's what I've heard. James Stemler dropping 5 SDPN memberships. James, you're out of control. He's a giving guy. Hey, if there's any New Jersey fans in there, would you take Stolarz for Hamilton? People are saying Dougie Hamilton will not help anything. You haven't watched Dougie Hamilton play. He's been good in New Jersey this year. I know his points are down, but I will tell you this. Dougie Hamilton would be the best defenseman. Oh, big hit by Carlo there. Dougie Hamilton would be the best defenseman on the Leafs that you've seen in this era. Like since even before Matthews was drafted. He'd be the best defenseman they've had since like Brian McCabe and Brian Leach. I'm not kidding. In Hayden's lifetime, he says. Yeah, like I know he's older, but and I know people are in the chat are like, nah, OEL is better. No, he isn't. But OEL like at one point was, but he's like 35 now or 34 or something. I love OEL, but I'm just telling you, we have not had a defenseman of Dougie Hamilton's character in this era. No chance. Somebody just said Morgan Riley is the greatest defenseman in the league easily. Silent Rob says that Hamilton is struggling to move the puck right now, but he can absolutely hammer it. Somebody said Hamilton gives me Carlo vibes. You need to watch more Dougie Hamilton. No. David says Leafs like soft players. Hamilton fits in nicely. Listen, if I'm looking for a stud defenseman, I don't need a tough guy. Like, is anybody looking at Quinn Hughes and going, he's the toughest guy on the ice? No. Nobody says that. Cale Makar's tough. Quinn Hughes is tough. Werenski's tough, but they're not like, oh, they're going to fight you. You have other guys for that. Hayden says, yeah, you've got Quinn Hughes, but you also have Jacob Middleton and Bogosian to balance out the toughness. You see here, guys, Toronto tried to go big and tough on defense, and you know what happened this season? Terrible. I mean, yes, it kind of sucks that you lose Chris Tanev, but injuries can happen. There's a Habs fan saying the Leafs need Laine. I don't think they do. I wonder what Laine's next deal looks like. He is an unrestricted free agent. Is he going to Europe? Like, is he staying? Hayden thinks he's going to Europe. Austin Walker says they got big, tough, and slow. Just because you do it wrong doesn't mean the concept is wrong. Okay, tell me a top 5 defenseman in the league who's a tough guy. Tell me one, guys. If you want to listen, you can sit here and disagree with me. You can't say, "Oh, Adam, I disagree with you. You need to get tough and great." And that I'm talking about, like, the Leafs need a stud, a guy that's going to finish 5th to 7th, like 1st to 7th in defensive scoring, and be like a net positive. Not be like, oh, he scores as many as he lets in. Hedman. Okay, Hedman, 1. Mo Seider, 2. Where's Mo Seider on defensive scoring this year, though? That's just somebody said Stetcher. So Victor Hedman is a unicorn. Mo Seider is another guy. So there's one guy. Hedman's not getting moved, and he's old. And Mo Seider will never leave Detroit. All I'm saying is no. It's not going to happen. You surround him with guys. How many elite number 1 defensemen are there in the NHL? That's a good question. So Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar, Matthew Schaefer, I would put in that category now. Mo Seider, Victor Hedman, Rowinski, Victor Hedman. But Victor Hedman's, like, he's older, right? Like, so that's going to change soon. At some point in the next few years, Victor Hedman will no longer be a number 1 defenseman. He still is now. If somebody's saying, I think Rasmus Dahlin is, right? So that's 7. Heiskanen for sure. McAvoy, when he's healthy, he'd be a top 10. Noah Dobson is not a top. No offense. Noah Dobson is not. No. Charlie McAvoy. Somebody said Connor Timmins. Gus Forsling. And listen, I love Lane Hudson. Is he going to be the best defenseman on any team he plays on? No. If he played with Quinn Hughes, Lane Hudson is the second best defenseman. But on most teams. Okay, I'll put Lane Hudson in there. We got 10. So one of those 10. Darren Radish. Man, Darren Radish has played like a number 1 defenseman this year. What a pickup he's been. Darren Radish has been sick. But, like, let's be honest, though. Rasmus Dahlin, Victor Hedman, Zach Werenski. These guys have been like this for a long time. Darren Radish has been Darren Radish for like 40 games. Let's give it some time. Roman Yossi's a good one. I like that. Adam Fox, we didn't count in there too. Jake Sanderson, I would put. So Jake Sanderson and Evan Bouchard are interesting. I think they're phenomenal. Are they elite of the elite? I think Bouchard. Yeah, if you're putting Hudson, you got to put Bouchard, which means you also have to put Sanderson. So, okay, we're up to like 13 guys, right? David says Adam Fox is soft, which means the Leafs are in on him too. But again, I've named all these guys. How many of them are tough guys? Not many, right? I don't need my number 1 guy to be a tough guy. Stop. What I need, we have a bunch of tough guys. The Leafs are not a weak team. They just don't hit because I don't friggin' know. It's to me, it's about having a stalwart number 1 defenseman, and they do not have it, and they never have. They've put Riley in that, but he's never been that. Yeah, Slavin's an interesting one because here's the thing with Slavin. He's not a big scorer. I think Slavin was, like, to me, the best defensive defenseman at the Four Nations tournament last year. Like, he's sick. I love Jake Slavin. But we're talking about a guy that can do it at both ends of the ice. Like, put Quinn Hughes up against Jake Slavin. Everybody's taking Quinn Hughes. Right? And that's not to say that we don't love Jake Slavin. I'm just saying. You gotta have it at both sides. Robert Bett, do you think Panarin will be traded or will the Rangers wait till the summer? Well, if they wait till the summer, he's an unrestricted free agent. So I do think he'll be traded. I just don't think it's an easy trade to work out because if he's going to waive, he's demanding an extension. And I don't blame him for that. He's going to try to maximize his value, make as much money as he can. If the Rangers don't move him, though, like, that's going to be a failing on their part because they already said, we're not going to offer you another deal. CJ said he's played his last game as a Ranger in the clip. There you go. So, yeah, not going to play till they trade him. Crazy. It kind of makes sense for the Rangers, though, right? Like, of course you wouldn't do that. Like, why would you risk it to Artemi Panarin, who could be centerpiece of just like a massive deal for you? Like, if who could use? I mean, who couldn't use a guy like Panarin? But like, if Toronto was in a playoff spot, and I think Austin Matthews could desperately use a guy like that. Like, no disrespect to Max Domi and Bobby McMahon, but what are we doing? You could have just a phenomenal winger to set up a phenomenal goal scorer. It's a great match, just not what the Leafs need right now. So, yeah, like I'm trying to think of what destination makes the most sense. I think Los Angeles has to go for it, right? I mean, this is his last thing. By the way, I just heard the door open downstairs. I'm going to call Jesse. Call Jesse Blake. I'm going to call Jesse. Is there somebody here? It's weird.
Hello.
Hey, are you here?
Yeah, I had to grab my hard drive.
Oh, okay. You scared me, man. 11:30 at night. I got the door going. By the way, say hi to everybody on the stream.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, Jesse scared the shit out of me. I was like, I'm hearing the door go off downstairs. I'm like, oh no, what? Did somebody break in? I know our security's not that tight, but.
I just had to drive over quickly and grab my hard drive.
All right. Well, Jesse's getting his hard drive. Everybody say hi to Jesse. A lot of Jesse emojis in the chat. We love you, Jesse. And people are asking if I was about to get murdered on the stream, which I think would have done big numbers for us. So,
Yes.
yeah.
Would have been a top 5 moment for sure.
Yeah. Anyway. Anyway, we love you, Jesse, and we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. See ya.
All right. Jesse Blake, everybody. Jesse Blake. Is somebody said Steve is having a breakdown on Twitter? What's he saying? Trade Matthews or Nylander to Detroit for Mo Seider. Okay, but like Detroit would have to want to give up Mo Seider. Why would they give him up? They're not giving him up. The guy I wonder about is Adam Fox. The other guy I wonder about is Zach Werenski. Because Adam Fox in New York he won a Norris Trophy a couple years ago. His points are down, but like for 2 or 3 seasons there, he just was putting up 70 points a season. He's an Olympian. He's a Four Nations participant. He's an all-world defenseman. Is New York willing to move a guy like that? If you traded Nyes or Nylander, like Nylander would be like the next New York superstar, right? What if that happened? Hey, how about this? Zach Werenski's contract's up after next season. If you're Columbus, do you believe you can keep him? Or do you trade him to play with his longtime buddy Austin Matthews in Toronto and get yourself some of that Matthew Nyes? I don't know. Listen, I have no insight in it. I'm just throwing shit at you. I'm just throwing it out at you. I'm trying to cook with a little gas here. Daniel Howard, wouldn't you love to see Jamie Benn teach Nyes how to be a jerk? Hell yes, I would. James Stemler, 1,500 viewers is a stellar number for a late game. Well, I'm thrilled everybody's here. I think part of it has to do with the fact that it's a Thursday night. I think part of it is everybody loves a flaming ship falling to Earth. Victor Mento, feelings about taking the C off of Austin Matthews for the retool? No, I think he's fine as a captain. It's not on him. This roster sucks. He's playing with Domi and McMahon. Marsh Hero at the game, hoping for the Kraken to help the Leafs tank. West playoffs are going to be interesting with Seattle, LA, Anaheim, and San Jose. Yeah, we were talking about potential landing spots for Panarin. I know a lot of teams have at least called and said, "Hey, like, what would it take?" If Panarin is saying I need an extension, Los Angeles makes so much sense. It's Anze Kopitar's last season. You could pair him up with oh God, what's his name? I'm tired right now, so you have to give me a sec. Who could you do? Who is it? LA. I'm just trying to put it up here, pull up their lineup. You could pair him up with because right now Quentin Byfield's playing with Trevor Moore and Warren Fogle. And no disrespect to Trevor Moore and Warren Fogle, but they're not like big point guys. I think Quentin Byfield could use a guy. He could use a Batman, and he could be Robin, you know? Oh. And you guys are saying, well, yeah, like what about Kempe? Well, yeah, but Kempe's on the first line. Have Panarin on the second. Go for it, right? Riley is basically Bouchard without the shot, 23 plaster. I think that maybe used to be somewhat the case. I mean, Riley had a 70-point plus season. It's not the case anymore. Yeah, but Bouchard's breaking Bobby Orr numbers, as Hayden says. And you know who else is? Cale Makar. Burps McGurbs, what are your thoughts on Brad's TSN interview and how he's never seen Jonas Siegel at any games before, so he doesn't know where he got the intel? Is that what Brad said? Brad said Jonas Siegel's there all the time. That's no. Hayden said it makes it sound malicious, and he's like, but he was very matter of fact. No. And I also heard Brad got the name of the athletic guy that they fired, the sports science guy. He said his name wrong a couple of times. Boys, what are we doing? David Owens, Roman Josi at $9 million for Nylander. Who says no? I think the Leafs do. And it's not because Roman Josi doesn't absolutely fucking rock. I worry about how old is Roman Josi? Roman Josi. He's 35. If you give me Roman Josi and Luke Evangelista, now we're talking. Remember, Nylander's a young guy in comparison. I love Josi, but he's 35. And the Leafs don't need another 35-year-old defenseman. They already have 18 of them. So I would say it's that. And it looks like Robertson's going to the box, I think. He drew the slashing call. Okay, good. Well, we're going to get a power play. Hayden saying Robertson's the best Leaf tonight. Yeah, he's had a couple of great scoring chances. And that second power play unit was the better-looking unit. The Leafs, of course, will not start them because, you want to get the Matthews one going, but they can't get the puck to Matthews, so it doesn't even matter. Solid Octo Parakeet. Vince Dunn is a UFA at the end of next season. He's an option. I would love Vince Dunn. He's very underrated. I just wonder if Seattle would ever give up on him. Like they have a lot of money tied up in big, slow defensemen too here in Seattle. I like Vince Dunn a lot, and it's so funny because didn't St. Louis basically let him go for in the expansion draft for like nothing? Oh, Nyes tried to get the wide open Tavares. That would have been a good shot, but Chandler Stevenson broke that one up. Riley at the point with the puck. This is a chance for the Leafs to get back in this game. Riley at the point to Matthews at the side. Matthews, when he does receive a pass, it's never when he's in a position to score. There you go. Oh, and again, he makes the pass there, but again, shot off the ankle, and that hurt. Nyes puts the puck wide. Ooh, and imagine an Austin Schwartz is having a tough night. Is that Schwartz? Can you imagine, by the way, taking an Austin Matthews shot off the ankle? That would suck. Oh, it's Ryan Lindgren. Former Ranger, Ryan Lindgren. Lindgren's in pain, but he's still out there because they don't blow it dead just because you're hurt. Dude Meister, who on the Marlies can step up if trades are made? I think on defense, William Villeneuve should get a look. And on forward, I think we need a little bit more Jake Quillen. Robert Bett says Adam Fox is like Stollers. He can't stay healthy. I know, but he's so good. Matthews with a shot. That goes wide. So it looks like even though Nick Robertson drew the penalty, he will not get a shot on this power play because the Leafs have just stayed out there the whole time. Tavares had a good shot in. Joey Decord is, man, he's shutting that door. Okay, so Nick Robertson's second power play unit is going to get a shot with 14 seconds. They're probably like, great, thanks, guys. Ooh, Lindgren, they just showed Lindgren getting hit with that puck again. Yuck. Oh, right off the ankle. Oh, my God, that would be painful. That's one of those where it's like at intermission, don't take off your skate because if you do, your leg's going to swell up. Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Shot. Oh, and Decord makes a great save. Man, Decord's so good. He's so good. Look at this, 1,700 people hanging out here, and it's almost midnight. What's up, guys? Welcome. Please like the stream. Oh. Decord had great body positioning on that Ekman-Larsson shot. Came right out, had him. All these American goalies, man, they really do. Body positioning is everything. The American program has pumped out some awesome goalies in the last 10 years. Canadian program could use a little work there. Robertson trying to work it in. Riley back to Robertson. Michelli's up front. Oh, and it just went. I think it went off at the court and out. Oh, I thought that was in the net. Hayden is saying the USA's fourth goalie would be Canada's first. Who are the first three goalies? Hellebuck, Swayman, Ottinger, and Decord would be four, right? You put Dustin Wolf above Joey Decord? I don't know if he's earned it yet. I think I'd take, based on the season Wolf's having from last time I checked anyway, maybe it's been a while, I would take Decord. Yeah. Hayden, you might have a point there. I think Decord is probably a better option than anything Canada has put forward. Logan Thompson has cooled off a lot. Binnington just stinks. Like, I know. I said that going into Four Nations, and he saved their butts in that final game. But Healthy Demko. Yeah, well, Healthy Demko doesn't count because that doesn't exist. Brant says, Adam, I think it's fair to say at this hour, it's mostly us Kraken fans and some sickos. Fair enough. Love you all, Kraken fan. By the way, I think, like I was saying earlier, this is, I'm pretty sure, my first Kraken Leafs stream ever. Muckmay, attaboy, the STP, all of STP, just back home after a day at the music studio recording a solo album. Hey, good for you. Happy and surprised to see you here. Who is your favorite musician known from a band who went solo? Listen, if you've got 2 ears and an open heart, you love Phil Collins. All right? Phil Collins, I think, is the most successful one of all time to go from in a band and then solo. I think on his own, like without Genesis, he sold 150 million albums. Beyonce's a friggin' great poll, Hayden. I guess, yeah. Beyonce's a good one. Harry Styles is interesting. It's going to depend on how this album goes for Harry Styles because his first one did okay. The last one was just a banger, like with Watermelon Sugar and all that. Great stuff. I liked his first album. Sign of the Times is a great song, but I don't think people got it. Watermelon Sugar is great. Aperture seems like it's going to be a really good single. He's got to like keep going. Michael Jackson is the most successful of all. I guess Michael Jackson is more successful than Phil Collins. Why didn't I think of Michael Jackson? Obviously, he was in the Jackson 5. I never think Michael Jackson was so successful as a solo artist that I never think of Michael Jackson in the Jackson 5. So that has to be him. People are saying McCartney. McCartney was extremely successful on his own, but not quite at the level of Michael Jackson or Phil Collins. Ozzy was amazing on his own. I know it's not cool to say this, but I like Ozzy's stuff, especially the stuff that Zakk Wylde wrote, more than I like Black Sabbath. And I like Black Sabbath a lot. Love Black Sabbath, but I know people are going to be so mad at that. Sting was awesome. Sting had an awesome solo career. Eric Clapton has come up a few times. Yes, because he was in. Was he in? I know he was in. Clapton was in a couple of bands, and I can't because it's late. He was in with Ginger Baker, and that would be. Okay, he was in Cream. Was he not in Vanilla Fudge too? I'm gonna find out. Was he in Vanilla Fudge? He was in Cream. He was the Yardbirds. Yardbirds, that's right. Vanilla Fudge was somebody else. Justin Timberlake's a good pull. Yeah, Justin. Oh, yeah, he was in Blind Faith. Then he was in Delaney and Bonnie, Derek and the Dominoes. Wow, Eric Clapton, man. He's in a lot of different bands. Bob Dylan. Was Bob Dylan in a band? I don't know. Listen, can I be straight with you? People are not going to like this. I don't get Bob Dylan. I know everybody loves Bob Dylan and his poetry and his stuff. I don't get it. You don't get the Beatles, Hayden? Oh, I love the Beatles, man. Oh, the Beatles are all melody, man. They're pop, like, to the max. I love this. There's some people that are like, Anime Cowboy, I'm a Vegas fan. I'm definitely bored and confirmed sicko, so I love watching the Leafs lose. David Riley, I have no choice to be up but working. Much love. You know what, Hayden? Let's go to the clip. What's the clip we got? Because we're going to come back for the third period. Oh, you'll like this. Well, the Leafs are bad and they're losing, so we did a segment on what can they do. Have a look. I'll see you at the beginning of the
Jesse, Steve, outside of, to me, Austin, and to me, the goaltenders who really aren't worth that much on the trade market, I don't think. Goaltenders never are. What do you believe that you need to hang on to? Like, who is untradeable? To me, obviously you want to keep Cowan.
Zero shot you win a Matthews trade.
Yeah. Are you willing to talk about, Jesse, William Nylander?
Yeah, it depends on what you're getting back. But
Sure.
I think I would much more likely move Nyes than Willie.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot more assets you'd get back there. I think
Because he's younger?
not unlike the
Yeah.
Austin
And
Matthews deal, I think you'd lose the Willie deal.
You do, eh?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think like to get the high-end talent player that you're probably looking for to get in return, it's probably Nyes you have to give up.
And I look at Nyes as a guy who could be part of the solution. Like, well-adjusted individuals don't win championships. You need someone who's a little nuts. And last night, Nyes is like, yeah, I don't look at the standings. I think we're going to make the playoffs. And I was like, you know what? God bless you. I like you on my team.
Yeah. Tavares said something similar.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's the mentality you have to have.
I agree.
What do you want him to say? Oh, we quit.
I agree. Well, just straight up, I don't look at the standings was very funny to me.
Yeah. But like, there's a game the next day. What are you going to do?
Exactly.
Worry about 10 games from now? You know?
Yeah. The Leafs are full of guys you don't have to trade. They could definitely be part of the solution. I think Oliver Ekman-Larsson is a haul waiting to happen. He's never going to be better than he is today, and he doesn't fit your window.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get rid of him. Jake McCabe, you probably keep, but you look at for the same reasons, but I just think his value's in the toilet right now because he's just playing so awful.
I think he's hurt too.
He is hurt. Like, he's very obviously hurt, and anyone trying to win a cup now is probably not trading for that player, except for the Oilers, who traded for Trent Frederick. Bobby McMahon and Scott Laughton, I think you have the same conversation with those two. Here is our number. We're not willing to go above that number. How does that number sound to you? If the number sounds good, you sign him. If the number sounds bad, you trade both of them.
I don't think you do that with Bobby McMahon. I think you go get the assets you can.
I'm with you,
That's
Jesse.
very valuable. I think you're doing the thing where you're keeping too much of the team.
Yeah, you're probably right. But if he says something like, yeah, I'll do $3 million. Like, okay. No,
even
you just
then,
trade
no.
him?
Go imagine what you can get. He makes $1.3 million.
1.35. You know what, Jesse? I'm on board.
$1.3 million for trading this winger who's going to be very effective in a top 6.
And is like deceptively old.
Yeah,
He's 30. He's going to be 30 in
There's a
June.
lot of assets you can get something back for him that's significant. That to me is more valuable than next year having Bobby McMahon at $3 million at whatever age he is.
Keep Laughton for the culture. Keep Laughton for the culture.
I like him for the culture. I really do. I know I'm super biased, Mr. Scott Laughton, man. But I think you need, one thing I would say the Leafs didn't have when Matthews, Nylander, Marner came in was a culture guy. No, nothing against JVR, Bozak, Kadri, Riley, any of those guys. They were still young, but they're not like,
they were sort of forced into the role.
yeah, they're not dog on a bone guys like Laughton is. I want Laughton. I want him to room with Easton Cowan. I want Easton Cowan to adopt because Easton Cowan's got more talent, and if he can adopt Scott Laughton's attitude,
he's still so young.
He is
right.
Can I give you the list? I think it should be, and
yeah,
instead of going through every name, I think you keep Austin, Willie, Cowan.
Short list.
Maybe
why
I would say,
and then Laughton fine for the vibe.
I think
let me ask you a
Tanev
question.
too, probably.
Let me ask you a question.
Unless you can trade.
I don't know if Tanev's going to play.
Yeah, that's the problem. Let me ask you a question.
can't trade.
I keep seeing Nyes crop up in these conversations, and because he's so young, I can't wrap my head around it. Why Nyes?
Because there's an ability to move him wherever you want. Unlike Willie, he doesn't have a full no move. He actually has no trade protection. It's a very reasonable contract for what you think he can be.
Yeah.
And then you're getting a giant haul that could really retool your organization, not unlike some of the blockbuster deals we've seen in recent memory.
For me, because you have so much control there, he has no trade protection and he's locked up. Your ask has to be completely insane.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So if they give you that ask, then you trade him. Otherwise, you have Matthew Nyes. That's pretty good.
Last season, the rumors were Nyes was a part of a Rantanen deal. That is a crazy thing that you can get for Nyes plus whatever it would be.
And what I'm curious is what the other side of that looks like, because Rantanen is the buy, and the team selling Rantanen gets a player who's good now but going to be better later.
Let me ask you a question.
So what is the return for a Nyes is what I'm trying to
now, but you're kind of getting an idea of his value there. Now it's flipped, where you're sending it to a team where they're buying Nyes for the future and the present, and then you're getting something in that range of equivalent of like a big good haul that'll retool your team for next season.
Stellar point.
Let's say that they had not traded the first round picks or whatever. I asked this, I think, before, but I'm going to ask it again. People are saying, well, what's available? What's available? Well, you're looking at right now. This is a months-long, potentially 18 months long process, right? This is going to take some time. And
I hope it doesn't.
What happens?
Maybe.
What happens if the Toronto Maple Leafs call the Vancouver Canucks when Quinn Hughes becomes available and goes, let's build something around Matthew Nyes?
Yeah, they might be able to get him. Who knows?
The Canucks?
Remember when Quinn Hughes became available?
Oh, like before. Right. And Quinn Hughes is willing to sign an extension here?
Well, he can't.
He can't yet, but he might. But you'd get a smoke signal. What do they call that?
Sure, but like with the Quinn Hughes thing, you're not even looking at like, hey, can you sign an extension? We got Quinn Hughes for 1.5 years. That's really good.
Yeah,
you take your chances with that.
Right.
And I think the biggest problem with this era of the Toronto Maple Leafs has always been their lack of number one defenseman. They do not, and you look at every single team that's won a cup. Again, I go back to the way Forsling has played, and he was a waivers pickup. Hedman, first overall pick. Pietrangelo before Hedman. Who else won? Pittsburgh had Chris Letang.
Letang, people forget how
badass.
Really good
awesome
Letang was. And they
Duncan
also kind of, didn't they have a run where they basically didn't have Letang?
Yep.
And they won by committee. It was Ron Hayes.
Yeah, that was a Ron, and that's how we ended up with Ron Hazy here in Toronto. You talk about Drew Doughty and Duncan Keith in the early 2010s. Lidstrom before that. You have to have a stud on
Chara.
D, and they tried to make Morgan Riley that guy. And Morgan Riley at his peak, he did get over 70 points one season.
The timing has never worked out because when Morgan Riley was at his best, he was on an island.
Yeah.
And he has probably a better supporting cast than he's ever had, and he's not close to that guy.
Jesse, let's continue with the list that you have. You got the list.
I was just looking at Puckpedia, and that was the list.
Here, let me throw another name out there. You have Nick Waugh, 1 season left at $3 million. You could keep him. You could trade him.
Buddy, you can, if you're keeping Lawton, you trade Waugh. Because
I 100% agree.
Because I think Waugh he's a very good hockey player.
He's an incredible hockey player.
And I like the line that he's created with Cowan and
I like every line he's on.
Me too. That's why I think any team like Nick Waugh is the guy they needed last season for their third.
Yeah.
And I think here's the real. Let's get real about this. John Tavares is not a second line center going forward.
Man, after a hot start,
if you have any intention of being great, not good, not barely making the playoffs, not we're out in game 7. If you have any intention of being great, John Tavares is going to be your third line center going forward. That's the truth.
You know what? I'd add Tavares to the list
of guys you can trade or
keep. He's kind of waived. Do you? I think you keep. I think you have no choice. You're keeping Tavares.
Yeah. My list is guys you'd keep because I think everything else you can sell. Right?
I
think Tavares, that's what you have to do.
I mean, the contract he signed, I think, very much indicates he ain't going anywhere. I don't even think you ask him.
Yeah. It probably should have gone without saying, but Tavares is going to be around. There's not a world where he's moved. And then with the defensemen, it's McCabe. Mm-hmm. And then I don't
think
care.
Keep Tanev. Regardless, even if he's a summer trade,
Tanev is the Tavares category of I don't think there's a world where you can move. Well, you can't move him right now. He's not playing. Mm-hmm. He's not going to play till after the Olympics.
He has 4 years left.
Yeah, he's not being moved at all. That's not a reality. So amongst guys you can move, everybody's on the table besides probably McCabe and Tanev.
I also like through the next Olympics, according to his contract.
Yeah, I also like that. Yeah, well, we'll see about that. But he's bought a house here. His family's here. He wanted to retire here. So I actually like that. I think you need guys like that. You can't strip it all, right? And I like a guy like Tanev too. I think if you're hoping that Ben Danford becomes something, who better to mentor him than McCabe and Tanev?
I don't have a problem with that.
I look at Tanev, I'm like, could be retired by the end of next season. He's 36.
He's such a wild
and this
card.
Is a really hard injury.
Yep.
I think there's a world where they're a playoff contending team next year.
100%.
Contending for the playoffs, to be clear. Just to clear that up.
Hey, did you know Austin Matthews is in Tom Brady too?
Wow, that's crazy.
Man, crazy.
But that does not happen without you trade Benoit. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen if you do nothing. The best thing for this team might be to get their ass kicked. There was a moment.
Oh, don't worry about that. They are.
Oh, I know. But there was a moment during last night's game, and it's the first time, I swear to God, it's the first time this season, where I think it was a 2-on-1. I don't remember who was on the 2-on-1. I don't remember who was back. And a little part of my brain was like, score. Please score. It was the Sabres on the 2-on-1. A little part of my brain. There was a clip today of, I think it was Sam McKee asked Justin Bourne, what was your overwhelming feeling after this game? And Borny nailed it. He goes, relief.
Yeah, I said that on the stream too. It's black and white now.
Oh, we can let go.
There's no gray area anymore.
Hey, they're going to the West Coast.
Yeah.
And they're going to play Seattle. If they lose to Seattle and I think San Jose wins their next game, that'll put the Leafs in 25th. What are we doing?
I'm so I'm so confused by this Rachel McAdams movie that's coming out, the Send Help one, where her boss is mean to her, and then somehow they're stuck on a desert island, and now she's going to threaten him with a knife. Hayden says it's a Sam Raimi movie. I don't know what that means. Is that is he part of the Marty Supreme like directors that like just chaos movies? Ah, that's the Safdies. Okay, sorry. Okay, so he did Evil Dead, first Spider-Man trilogy. So what's this? What's the deal? I don't understand. I don't get it. It's weird. Jomo says Vince Dunn is a UFA at 27-28. Alexiak is a free agent at the end of the season. I would trade Wright for Waugh or Cowan, though. I will tell you this: Cowan is not going anywhere. He's part of the future. Wazoo, drunk sports fans love Oasis and Liam Gallagher. Hell yeah, they do. Victor Mento missed the days when the Leafs made Game 7s to choke. I'll be honest with you, I don't miss that. I feel like a retool here means that, or a reset, or whatever you want to call it, is nice. Why is that nice? Because it's going to be different from before. I need it to be different from before. I don't need to watch that again. Thad Jarvis. Adam, I love talking hockey, but I also love hearing you talk history. Do you have a quick history fun fact that you could share? A quick history fun fact that I could share. Now, because it's midnight and I'm rarely up this late, can you see? I'm just like, I'm really excited for the third period where the Leafs are going in down 3-1 and they have not controlled any of the possession and the play. Okay, Thad, help me out here. What would you like? Oh, Hayden's got one. Give it to me, Hayden. Hayden wants to know, was Napoleon actually that short? Or was he average for the time? So Hayden is asking about Napoleon being short. Napoleon was average height for the time. And you're probably going, but Adam, he's always portrayed as a short guy. Well, you may know this. The Brits have a culture of newspapers, and that dates back to before Napoleon. Salacious, dirty newspapers. The French do too. I mean, the French used to literally print pornography about the Queen in their newspapers because they didn't like Marie Antoinette. So when Napoleon takes over, they call him, there's a nickname for him. They call him the Little Corporal or Petit Corporal. And what they mean by that, when his French soldiers call him that, they didn't mean little in the actual little sense. Like, hey, you're a little bit short. They mean it in the sense that little means like my buddy. It's a different meaning. Like, it's my little dude, even though little actually means short in English. In French, at that time, it meant we're friends and he's one of us. And they always saw Napoleon as one of them because he was from a poor family that was aristocracy in Corsica, and was just kind of a normal sort of rough guy with a weird accent, right? He wasn't from France. He was from an Italian island. So the Brits kind of jump on the Little Corporal thing. And when they portray him in British newspapers, it's always this short, little, round, fat guy that's like waving a sword in the air like a Looney Tune, right? And they are so effective at that a lot of people that study Napoleon in English and don't speak French don't understand the difference. And they look at the cartoons and they look at the depictions in English and they start to take it seriously. Even today, it fools historians today. But Napoleon was average height for the time. We would consider him short because if you've ever gone into an old house, even from like 100 years ago, you'll notice that the banisters are all down lower than your hip. And that's because our nutrition has gotten so much better in the last 100 years that we all grow a lot taller now. So there you go. Adam's History Corner. Cantankerous Games. Thoughts on why the Flyers are falling off a cliff? I think they were riding, a pretty hot Trevor Zegras. They were getting some goaltending, which was good. I don't think the Flyers are that good yet. I think that's what it is. Like, I think the Flyers are not, I think they're regressing back to what they are, which is a very mid-level team. And I didn't understand the Christian Dvorak extension. I know centers are hard to find, but do not get that rebuild fully. And, I think it would help if, next year Mitchkov's got to show up to camp in shape. Let's just call it what it is. I drafted him in fantasy. Yuck. But yeah, I didn't have high expectations for the Flyers, and so far they've kind of met my expectations. The fact that they were even good for a while is good. What's that, Hayden? But Vladar came back down to earth. Yeah, because Vladar is a below, like, I don't want to call him, like, he's an average NHL guy, right? He's not a stud. Rick Tocchet is a very, very effective coach. They need more talent in there. They just do. Elizabeth says, Matthews' leadership is the issue. He has no chemistry with the media. When he speaks, he's so monotone. How hyped up do you think he can get the guys? Dude has zero energy, biggest goal scorer, does not a leader make. Okay, so let me tell you something. Elizabeth, I'm going to give you homework, and I appreciate your super chat. Go look up any Matt Sundin interview. Go look up our interview with Matt Sundin on the Steve Dangle podcast. Go look up Matt Sundin post-game interviews with the Leafs or with the Canucks. Matt Sundin was monotone. He was boring, blah, blah, blah. But if you listen to guys like Ty Domi talk about it, he was a leader. And the media never saw that. And I remember all the time growing up, people be like, well, he has no chemistry with the media. And there's no way if he can't get us fired up on, the post games, he's not gonna get the boys fired up. That is just not true. And I don't know, like, I have no insight into, no one's told me Austin is a good leader or a bad. All I can go off of is what I'm seeing, and he's led by example. John Tavares is a monotone speaker. I didn't think he was a bad captain either. I think, yeah, Hayden's saying he's like, I don't think there's a captain in the NHL who isn't monotone. Guys, you can't leadership your way out of no talent. They don't have the talent. It's so much simpler than leadership. If it was leadership, it would be a huge problem, and I don't know how you get out from under that. This is not a leadership thing. This is when it comes to leadership, it comes like leadership is in the playoffs. That's when you see leadership. And I know that they haven't made it deep enough in the playoffs for any of our liking, but Matthews got one crack at it as captain, and they went to the 7th game of the second round against the eventual Stanley Cup champions. He got them the furthest. So I don't know. I just don't. I'm not a subscriber to that. Henderson says, fun history fact, Cleopatra's reign was closer to the moon landing than the founding of Egypt. Yeah, Egypt is, people don't realize, Egypt's fucking old. It's like 5,000 years old. It's crazy. Emmanuel Auguste, Kings fan here. I love the pod and follow and watch Toronto because of you guys. Leafs score but can't defend. Polar opposite of my team. Let's make a trade. Hey, amen. I don't know. I mean, Nick Waugh would be an interesting fit. I think Bobby McMahon would be an interesting fit. Get you some speed on the wings. Like, you got to get somebody to play with Quentin Byfield that's not Warren Fogle. I think Warren Fogle is better in a lower. I think Warren Fogle is a great player. I'm not hating on Warren Fogle, but I think he's better lower in the lineup. Meme Empress, English French beef is really funny. Lancelot is unironically some French poet's probably self-insert OC. I'm not joking. Lancelot from the King Arthur fables, whatever you want to call it. Well, yeah, the thing about English and French is that most English people are French. Like Anglo-Saxons were unseated in 1066 by William the Conqueror, who was French. He's Norman. So, and for a long, long time, the kings and queens in the British court did not speak English. Like, what is it? Richard the Lionheart, the guy that went on campaign and went on the Crusades and was like venerated as like one of the greatest British leaders ever, spent almost no time in England and spoke no English. And I'm talking about like Anglo English, like from way back. Spaceman, did you see Bill Belichick will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer? That's crazy. Spaceman, I want you to sign up for VIP because that is the first topic we talk about tomorrow. And it's crazy because we recorded it yesterday, and I predicted something yesterday that ended up actually happening later that night. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I called it, and I'm very proud of myself. So sign up for VIP. It's a really, really good discussion tomorrow. Jason Harnack, big fan of Berube's Deserve to Win-O-Meter. You mean the one with his forehead? They're calling it the Deserve to Panic-O-Meter. Anime Cowboy, I've only followed the NHL since Vegas started. I have yet to see any player have good relations with the media. Yeah, NHL players hate the media. They don't hate, most of the time they don't, hate people personally. They just hate doing it. So, I always think they should take advantage. You see what NFL and NBA players are like with the media, and they get so many more endorsements and so much more airtime. I feel like NHL players are giving up a chance at a big amount of money. Nice. Oh, I thought he could get across the Domi there. Leafs on the power play, by the way. Not talking too much about the game because the Leafs kind of stink. I mean, they are Seattle, but a couple of shots there. Nyes and Tavares, and Jesse is in the chat saying they don't care for us. They like hockey, and that's it. Take it from Jesse. He's there all the friggin' time. That's why I don't think, we got a goal! We got a goal, and Matthew Nyes tried to make sure it was a goal. I think that's Morgan Riley. Did it just flutter in or hit a skate or something? What happened? Shane Wright is still sitting in the box because he doesn't think it went in. I'm pretty sure that was a goal, right? Am I crazy? So Domi gets it out to Riley. And then Matthew shot it, and then Domi back to Riley, and Riley's going to shoot this. I hate when Sportsnet does this. Slow this down. No, don't show me the rebounds. Show me the goal and slow it down, please. Show me the goal, Sportsnet. They showed one angle of the goal, and they showed two angles of the rebounds. I don't even know, how did it go in? Did it get tipped off somebody? Who scored? So they're giving it to Riley. I don't know what's going on in the truck, man, but geez. Show me the goal. Slow it down. They showed us the goal at 100% speed. Slow it down to 50. So the Leafs are back in this game. Emmer says, I'm absolutely fuming as a Sharks fan. I would love a Leafs comeback. Rennie says, Riley goal? Impossible. Nah, Riley can score. Yeah, well, he doesn't have a good shot from the point, Hayden. You saw what Hayden, if they showed a replay of that goal, I could show you exactly what I mean. That was a muffin beach ball shot. Hayden says, I guess we'll never know. Yeah, because they won't show us. There's Benoit with a nice shot. I don't know what I said there. Jesse Blake, they should have done the overhead shot for the goal so we could see it go in. Yeah, man. And now they're going to break, and they're showing the celebration, but they're not showing the shot. Show the shot. All right, okay. So here's my bet. They're going to show the shot when we come out of commercials. I think that maybe they didn't have time to queue up the goal properly, and they maybe played the wrong clip. That can happen, right? Human error. But give me a shot of that goal. I need to see that. Cantankerous Games says, let me buy you a coffee for having Mitchie in your fantasy pool. He has flashes, but he feels like Yashin. It's true. Thank you. I appreciate you buying me coffee. I'm going to get a cappuccino, thanks to you. Victor Mento, dawn of a retool, and of course, Riley scores. Listen, he's helping his trade value. Don't be upset about this. Heather the Avs fan, dropping 5 SDPN memberships. Remember, VIP comes out tomorrow morning, and it's going to be a good convo. Jesse's already here. Jesse, that Bill Belichick convo. It's good, right? Heather, dropping 5 SDPN memberships, even after a loss to the Montreal Canadiens. That's called giving. Big love for Heather in the chat. Big love for Heather. Ian Ball, I'm getting a number 44 Riley jersey tomorrow. Yeah, sure you are. Jesse is asking me, Adam, how is the 12-hour-old coffee? We had a big SDPN company meeting today for the executives at the company. That makes it sound bigger than it is. It's just the three owners, me, Steve, Jesse, our head of sales, and then Justin, and then Drew. But we were getting ready for the Olympics, and we got Jesse bought Starbucks, and he brought it in one of those big carrying cases. And I told him, don't pour that out. I need to drink some of that because I don't mind my bean water being a little older. So I had some bean water. And that's how I'm still awake with you right now. Hayden is upset that he is not in those meetings. Hayden, if you want to sit in a room, a hot room, because our basement is boiling hot for some reason, for 5 straight hours, you be my guest. Dude Meister, Navy vet here in Victoria from Ontario, been an abusive relationship with the Leafs for 45 years. Can't get my sons to support the Leafs. Generational trauma. You know what? I don't blame them. Ooh. Matthews took a shot, and now he's slow to get up. Oh, no. It's his ankle. He has blocked a lot of shots this year, low-key. If we lose Austin Matthews, like, what are we pretending at here? Speaking of Dude Meister, generational trauma, here it is. Best player they've ever had on the ice after a shot. Just a random shot in a nothing game. And that wasn't even like a crazy hard shot. I think it's just where it hit him. Oh. Matthews, by the way, for forwards this season, ranks 4th in the entire NHL in block shots. His ozone time and his new ozone starts are so down since Berube started. They gotta move on from Berube. I like Craig Berube the person, but this guy is not the right coach for this team. Okay, so Hayden, who are the top 3 in block shots in the NHL if Matthews is 4 in forwards? Alex Tuch is number 1. Brandon Tanev is 2. Noel Acciari is 3. Okay, so yeah, you're right. Matthews does make $10 million at least more than any of those guys. That's crazy. And Nick Dowd and Adam Henrique are 4 and 5. I don't think that's a good way to use. Listen, I love Matthews. He's a very strong defensive center. Is that the right way to use your big time goal scorer? Andrew signed up for STP VIP ad free. Andrew, welcome. Matthews, I think, is okay, by the way. I think it just went numb. Dead leg, they call it. Alex Mercer, Adam, how do you feel about the Team Italy roster? I think it's cool that they're in. How do I feel about it? I don't have a lot of feelings about it. I think we know what they're going to do, but I still think it's cool that they're in. Do they score a goal? Yes, they get a goal. Ian Ball says Leafs are going to hit 30 shots tonight. Hey, don't count your chickens, Ian. They could always let you down. Go Blue says, what are your thoughts about the Bolts winning when they're missing Hedman, McDonough, Point, Lilleberg, and more, and now they're getting healthy? I love you all. Well, first off, they're the best coach team in the league, and they have been for the last decade. What a terrible giveaway, and Shane Wright scores. What the hell was that? And it's the Ekman-Larson-McCabe pairing again. Shane Wright doesn't shoot the puck ever. Who gave that away? They have got to stop playing this pairing together. Or you know what? If they're going for the tank, I guess keep them together. You want to keep losing, keep playing OEL and McCabe together. Okay, so OEL does a good job breaking this up, gets it to McCabe. Oh, and then it was Michelli this time. Okay, so McCabe didn't make the bad play. Fine. But, I might even argue this. Does McCabe need to make that play to Michelli? He's clearly covered. It's Shane Wright. Like Shane Wright? After you gave up a hat trick to friggin' Rasmus Dahlin on Tuesday? Shane Wright with that goal has that's his 7th goal this season. Jesse's right. Hit like for pain. Anyway, go blue to answer your question. The Bolts missing Hedman, McDonough, Point, Lilleberg, and more, and they're getting healthy, and they played so well. First off, they probably have the best coach in the league. Second, maybe a two-way tie for best general manager in the league with Bill Zito in Julien Brisebois. They've got, you know what the Lightning have? Their pro scouting staff is like second to none. They pull freaking guys out of nowhere. And it's almost like what the Patriots used to do with, like, remember when the Patriots got, I don't know if you guys are big football fans, but they're like, you know what? We're going to put this guy Wes Welker in. And everybody's like, who the fuck is Wes Welker? And he becomes one of their more prolific receivers ever. The Lightning, great teams and great systems, are able to pluck guys out of obscurity, plug them in, and turn them into great hockey players. Yanni Gourde, I don't even think was drafted. Or if he was, it was like a late round pick. Like, they just find guys. The Leafs have, at least I thought they had good pro scouting staff, but they've never really been able to find those guys. And when they really needed to, when the cap was flat and they were stuck with the core four, could have used that. When 23 Plaster, first, third, and fourth goal, you would like a save, I guess. But Anthony Stolarz is not going to be good till next season. Sorry. McCabe and OEL have a expected goals for per 60 of what? Expected goals against of what? 3.07. So when per 60 minutes, McCabe and OEL have a expected goals against of over 3. Yuck. Carlo is going to the box here for a weird play. Let me see what happens here, because this is like, yeah, the puck's not near the guy. Goes for the hit on Tolvanen. Yeah, that's a monster hit, but he's okay. Sedin Magic 15, not blaming Stolarz, but I think you'd like a save there. Yeah, listen, I get it. I just, Stolarz is not going to be good till next year. It's sort of like the Jeremy Swayman thing. You miss enough time in the season, and it's just really hard as a goalie to get your timing back. Jeremy Swayman missed all of training camp last year, and he was bad, and the Bruins missed the playoffs. They retooled. This year, he's been phenomenal, and that's not by accident. He didn't forget how to play goal last year. It's just the margins are so small in the NHL, and Stolarz played a bunch of the early season, didn't actually play that great, honestly, and I think he was hurt, and then he was gone for 80 days. Mary's, this is a good one for Jesse and for Hayden, if Jesse's still here. Would you take the over-under on the entire tournament in Italy at 3 goals? Would you take the over or the under? So that means we'll say 3.5, because it's got to be 4 or 3. Or if it's 2.5. I think I'm taking the under. I think they'll have a game where they get 2 goals. And maybe another game where they get 3, but I don't think they're going to get 4. Grand Lake Rocks. During the Wylde game, I asked about Willie for Fox trade, and you said you wouldn't do it. I see on the latest pod you've come around to the idea of the pod, and I hope the Leafs, I love the pod, and I hope the Leafs can get it together. You know what? You were right. You were right. Jesse Blake is taking the over on the Italian goals. We should do that tomorrow on the show, Jesse. The BetMGM big story. Well, that's not till Monday. Oh, Tolvanen with a shot. Stolarz is able to make the save there. Yeah, you know what? Grand Lake Rocks. You were right. I was wrong. I had my Leafs colored glasses on, I think. Victor Mento, coach is going to get a heart attack while he's still here. Yeah, like this is a good. I mean, the PK has always been good this year with the Leafs, but they're not getting otherworldly goaltending anymore, so that's kind of created an issue. Bo Sox Nation says you have 3 backup goalies. Man, I actually think Hildeby's been the best Leaf goalie this year. Oh, nice block by Benoit. He's in pain. Because I don't know if Stolarz is going to have that, and the Leafs killed the penalty. Go Blue. Now an SDP VIP member. Yo, Go Blue. Sign up for ad-free. Just saying. Sign up for ad-free, and then that way you get all the episodes ad-free, and then you get, you know what I'm saying? Just throwing that out there. Robert Bet, maybe we should have kept Lambert. Lane Lambert, yeah. I like him as an assistant coach, but he wants to be a head coach. So I don't think we could have. Jesse says Italy plays Sweden, Finland, and Slovakia. So you're going to take the over in goals for Team Italy, Jesse, when that's a pretty tough lineup. I'm hammering under on that too. Hayden's like, I'm hammering under. Absolutely. Chris Bennett, the issue with Matthews is accountability. He is the only captain who has never used I in the season-ending presser. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I listen. I don't know enough about his leadership style to be honest. I don't think it's the problem though. On the list of Leaf problems, leadership would be like what 50th. Again, if you don't have talent, who cares? You could have Mark Messier there. Jesse is just screaming, "Give me the over." You know what, Hayden? You should actually bet Jesse something. Like if you're hammering under and Jesse's hammering over, we should make a bet. Christian says I signed up for ad-free recently, and it's definitely worth the extra couple bucks. Well, thank you, Christian. I'm glad that you did. It's great if you're a hardcore and you want it, you get it early, and you get it with no ads. Meme Empress, not gonna lie, Bolt scouting genetically engineered guys in the lab. LOL. James, a shootout winner, and his goal tonight were jealous. What's that like to win? What's that like to win? Oh. The Leafs are so dead right now. Like it's crazy. It's so crazy. They're dead. Apparently, the deserve to win a meter is actually in the Leafs' favor tonight. If you can believe it. Isn't that funny? Rusty Mitchell, as I've told you before, all I wanted from this season was to not hate the Leafs, and they couldn't even give me that. I know. I was hoping for a while, like after Christmas, for that 3-week period in heaven, they seemed pretty likable. This didn't last. Didn't last. Meme Emperor says, "Show us the meter." It's got Craig Berube's forehead on it. Aiden, I can't hear you. You're clicking out. You're gonna have to Yeah, you sound like a really very scary Optimus Prime. James Stemler. I don't get the we versus I gripe. We include self. Yeah, I don't. I think it's semantics, but I know it rubs people the wrong way. Listen. After a loss, is there anything Austin Matthews is going to be able to tell you to make you feel better? Nah. You want them to take accountability and say, yeah, it's our fault and it wasn't good enough. Sure. But if you're looking for perfection from a professional athlete speaking, I don't know. I go back to look up Matt Sundin's post-game interviews, man. Not a whole lot different from what we get from Matthews. And Matt Sundin is a venerated, amazing captain. Who dat says, what would it take for Utah to get Wool? Vamelka is a 50 games per season goalie that is getting exhausted because we don't have a viable backup. I think there needs to be a prospect coming the other way. Like the Leafs, like it'd be great for them to get a bunch of draft picks, but like they're also going to need NHL prospects. Can you, for Joseph Wool, if you're going to move a piece like that, is there a puck moving defenseman that's available? I don't know that there is that Utah has in the system, but Blackhawks conversation. Any advice for someone trying to get into sports media? I'm covering the Blackhawks via YouTube. I think you're doing it. In years past, I would have told you, try to get to a smaller market television or radio station, work your way up from there. You could still do that, but the jobs are fewer and further between. I think the way to go now, if you really want to do it, is to spend the time to learn how to tell a story. Read a book on how to tell a story. How do you set up a story? Research that. A lot of people don't know how to tell a story. I would do that, and then I would go to, I would try to work in a newsroom at some point because sports is news. So if you can find a way to work in a smaller city, or like even if you can intern at a local television station, get coffees for people, learn how to file a story, learn how to write a 30-second news flash, those types of things, still very, very important. There's a lot of art left in radio and television, even if the mediums are seeing significant declines. Am I crackling? Am I crackling? Can we fix that? Hayden? I don't know what's going on. This happens like once a show. I don't know why. It always does this. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why that happens. It just happens from time to time. Your mic's good now too, Hayden. Once a show, it just goes that. Anyway, whatever. So yeah, that's what I would do. Learn how to tell a story. Try to work in a media organization that does audio and video. But don't count on it to like people used to go and work at radio stations and work there for 30 or 40 years. That's not, those days are over. So keep doing your YouTube stuff. And eventually you kind of figure it out. Takes a long time though. Takes a long time. I mean, you look at Steve and Jesse and I, we've been doing our show together for, was it 14 years? 13 years? 14 years? It's a long time. It's a long time. Consistency is key. Hayden, what was your advice? Because Hayden's a lot younger than I am. Consistency and content. I like that. Yeah, hit every social media platform at once. That's a good point too, Hayden. Isa Half-Breed says, I cause myself trauma by watching this team. Hey, and you're staying up late for it too, Isa. Ohm says, to change the Leafs, you have to change the core, and it's time to ask if you can win a cup with Matthews being the best player. It's got to be a big change. I think you can make big changes before you go trading the highest goal per game player in the history of the NHL. And Matthews is currently the highest goal per game player at this point in his career in the NHL. Henderson Galbraith smugly flips off camera. Why are you flipping off the camera? What did I say? Robert Bett, we need someone related to George Peros on this team so we can win. Or one of the Campbells, Gregory Campbell. Meme Empress, I didn't know Sky Guy was in his Vader era. Sorry. Yeah. My microphone does that from time to time. Are you getting an LFR tonight? Yes, you are. All right. 5:34 left in the game. The Toronto Maple Leafs did actually officially hit 30 shots this game. It doesn't really matter. To be honest, Decourt's been very good. I love Joey Decourt. I think he's such a great goalie. This team's toast, by the way. You guys know that, right? Yeah, okay. What do we think, chat? Do we believe that Craig Berube is toast? Chat. If you were the Leafs, would you keep Craig Berube? I don't know. I don't think it's working. Matthews is where and has gotten the Leafs. Matthews is and where has that gotten the Leafs? Well, yeah, supporting cast matters too. Jomo says, time to go empty net so Joey can get his goal. Joey Decourt. Goofy. What's that? Oh, there's a poll in the chat? What's the chat? Oh, would you keep Berube? 68% say no. All right. He's a great coach, but not for this roster. I think that's the thing with Berube. I don't think he's a bad coach. Wolfer Teague-Ginla. There's your Utah prospect watching from Newfoundland. Hey, buddy, if we could get him, Teague-Ginla would be sweet. Chris Bennett says Berube isn't the problem, it's the culture. Yeah, this team stinks. This is bad. Guys, it's so weird. It's been such a long time. It's been a decade since the Leafs were bad like this. So it's a whole new world for us. When we started the show, the Leafs have been bad for like 15 years. And then they all of a sudden were like, hey, we're going to get smart and good. Kipper says, blow it up. Kipper says, listen, I love Nick. I think he's an awesome guy. I rarely agree with any of his trade proposals. I don't think it's a full blow up. I think it's a partial. Tavares tried. Tried to get that puck back, but he didn't quite win it. 23 Plaster. Real question. Who takes his place? DeBoer? I'm thinking maybe Torts would be an idea for a short time. Torts is no. Absolutely not. No. You don't want a coach who on a rebuilding team said, I don't want to do this anymore. Torts is not the guy. Victor Mento missed the days when they choked in Game 7. Good night, Adam. Good night, Victor. Have a good day at work tomorrow. I would say that Pete DeBoer is all. So here's the thing with Pete DeBoer. I don't know that Pete DeBoer's got every place he's coached has been what they call the real NHL, right? So it's not a heavy media market. Torts is a no-go. Pete DeBoer, I think, would melt in Toronto. And it's over. Is that a hat trick for Wright? No, it's McCann. Well, at least my fantasy team benefited. So Jared McCann is 1 goal away from 200 in his career. Could have been with the Leafs. Thanks, Kyle. Christopher Hence here. I don't know why you think Willie is untradeable. He seems like an effort issue kind of guy. I didn't say he was untradeable. I said I would trade him. I'd say I'd look at it. Absolutely. What's that? Wow. Okay. Well, Steve, so Hayden says Steve's not happy right now. I'm sure he's not. There's Steve. There's Steve's face on the stream. There we go. Yeah. That's great. That's friggin' great. Ceci Roth says, any interest in Pettersson in a 2C, a buy low option? No. Pettersson's got to figure his game out. And I think in a market like Carolina, he would do well. I don't think him going to another media-heavy market's a good idea. Woodcroft is the coach you want. So my issue with Jay Woodcroft is this. I think Jay Woodcroft kind of got a little big for his britches in Edmonton. I think he had early success there. And then he comes back and he tries to reinvent the wheel on defense. The Oilers can't play it. He forces them to play it. They have one of the worst starts they've ever had. They fire him and then go immediately to the Stanley Cup final. Like, guys, there's a reason Jay Woodcroft didn't even get hired as an assistant for more than a year. There is a reason. And listen, do I know exactly what that reason is? I'm guessing. But I've covered this game long enough to be able to narrow it down to a couple of things. And I'm pretty sure it's the thing I just told you. I don't know that Jay Woodcroft is the guy. Does Toronto line up with New York Islanders for Willie or Nyes? I have no idea what they would get for him. Like, Toronto's got to get something for him, right? Like, that's like trading Nyes or trading William Nylander. You need to have a franchise-altering player coming back. Yeah, Aiden says if you're trading Nylander, it's starting with Schaefer. Listen, if Noah Dobson was still an Islander, I could see that. Noah Dobson plus, based on what the Canadians paid for him. But Noah Dobson isn't there anymore, and you have Matthew Schaefer. Cheatolic says need a GM that can do what Dubas did in Pittsburgh. Yeah, listen, they've been good. You know, I think the best thing for Dubas is he finally got the coach he wanted in there. Dan Muse was a great great hire. Noah says, in 2 to 3 years, who are going to look back on as the biggest snub for the Olympics? As an Oil fan, I have to say Bouchard or Hyman if he isn't the injury replacement if Point can't go. I think the answer is pretty short. Jason Robertson. 1, 2, and 3. Jason Robertson for the Americans. I cannot believe he's not on that team. Sloopin says, Berube hockey is bad. You get outscored and filled in every game while, quote, capitalizing on your spots and relying on 920 plus goaltending. It's not a good way to win. I'm with you on that. I am so with you on that. I'm over it. All-Star Danny Heatley, what's up? I admit to being a biased Sharks fan, but DeBoer is not who I would pick to coach the Leafs. Media relations, goalie stuff. Yeah, dude. Like you want a coach that's bad at the media? Pete DeBoer. Pete DeBoer's strength is not communication and talking to people. Bruce Boudreau says City and Magic 15. Everybody wants Boudreau for the vibes. I don't think that that's the guy. I'm going to tell you this, guys. So the Leafs were dead. I don't know if you guys know this. The game ended. No one cares. I think the Leafs are going to get it tomorrow. And it isn't the team on the ice anymore. The Leafs organization behind the scenes is going to get it tomorrow on the STP. They're going to get it in a lot of different ways. I'm not going to explain everything right now. They're going to get it in a lot of different ways. Leafs org is they're due for a shellacking in a way that we haven't done in a while. Like, I know for a fact, I can tell you this. I remember when they lost in Game 7, Steve said something to the effect of to Shanahan, basically, through the thing. He said, pack your shit and go. It's a pretty heavy comment, right? We heard through the grapevine that there were some people in the Leafs organization who were very upset about that. That they thought it was wrong or disrespectful or whatever. And you know what's hilarious about Leafs management since Shanahan left? And I'm going to bring this up on the show tomorrow. They've made him look good. They've made him look like a guy that was really pushing the organization in the right direction. And it's interesting because I don't want Shanahan back. I assumed by when he was here that all the things he implemented, that the sports science and the way to look at prospects and the pro scouting and all that, I assumed that they would just continue with that and try to make the team better on the ice. I was wrong. They haven't done that. They've deviated from that completely. And so you're making Shanny, who was stale as several-month-old bread in that role, you're making him look good. You're making him, who really hadn't made any major changes to the Toronto Maple Leafs organization in over half a decade. Like, let's be honest. He came in, he instituted a lot of changes that were very effective. The 14-15 Leafs, when he started, versus the 17-18 Leafs, just a completely different franchise over 4 years, and I will always give Shanahan credit for that. But right around COVID, he stopped doing stuff. And now, because they're deviating from some of the stuff that I would have thought was just logical shit to hang on to, we're in this position. They're cutting corners in ways, guys, that we'll talk about tomorrow on the show. You're going to be blown away. There's stuff coming out. Like, you think Jonas's piece was bad? Get ready. We're not going to be the ones to break it. There's other stuff coming. Henderson Galbraith, you know what? This is interesting. This interesting comment. They say listen to your opponents. They'll tell you the truth. You cannot keep that core. They can't do it. We do not fear them. Salt the earth. Jumbo TV, and you thought Pelly was a good executive. I know. I was wrong. I had high hopes for Keith Pelly. I mean, listen. Let's say he sells right, gets the right people in place, they start winning, then I'm willing to give him his credit, but he doesn't look good right now. Doesn't look good right now. We're not here to sell jerseys. I mean, you were selling a Mitch Marner Vegas Golden Knights jersey at the Vegas Golden Knights Leafs game. How friggin' embarrassing. Read the fucking room, guys. Jeez. Wake up and have some pride. Horrible. Horrible. Anyway, listen, I'm going to let it go for now, but we will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's show is going to be great. If you sign up for VIP ad-free, you're going to get it early. If you thought Wednesday was spicy, get ready because Friday's going to be crazy. Big shout out, by the way, before we go. Big shout out to our guy, Hayden. Hayden handled the chat tonight. Hayden handled the production tonight. It was just me and Hayden. So Hayden gets a big salute from me. Couple of last-minute things. GSP Hockey, thanks to Minton. Please lose, but not too much. That's a Bruins fan. Sedin Magic 15, the Canucks just shut out the Ducks 2-0. Nikita Tolopilo with the shutout. Good for him. Matt V. Ball 17. It's crazy to see Toronto and New York at the bottom of the East. You know what? The way both teams are run, they friggin' deserve it. Both teams deserve it. The fan bases don't. 2,000 of you are in here right now. It's almost 1 a.m. What are you doing here? Yusuf Rashad, this feels like the 10 identity crisis in almost as many years. What could the Leafs possibly do to solve this? They didn't have an identity crisis. They had a heart and soul crisis. They had the talent. They didn't have the heart and soul, guys. That's why they could never get past Game 7s. Good night to you. We will see you in the morning. Well, actually, we'll see you in the afternoon. We're recording in the morning. Get ready. Tomorrow's going to be crazy. It's going to be a little rough. Love you all. Happy Friday. And thank you, Hayden. Bye-bye.